Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. I hear him chat from the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. We can't go out, man, forget my peace. You take the west, I'll take on the east. I'ma put them in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Man, so tough, but mans keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls, let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
Dan is off for the day, for the week, actually. He is in L.A. Again, he loves going to L.A. He is, this is part 2 of his sit-downs with Joy Taylor, Sedano, and Gojo. So he is out for the week, and I have 2 rules when Dan is out. Lazy River, have fun. I hate doing that because it suggests that we don't have fun when Dan is here.
I don't think you hate doing that.
I don't.
Can I implement a Dan fine? Like every time you mention Dan, you owe $1 to the fine bucket?
That's the last time I'm going to mention Dan.
Unless it's funny. Then you get $1 from the fine bucket.
Last time I'm going to mention Dan. Billy, you said we can't talk about the Panthers until they made it to the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Here we are.
We are here.
Yes.
But I have a bone to pick with the NHL, but we don't need to get into that today.
Why?
Well, because last year I went, if you want to get into it, we can. Last year I went and I did, I thought, a great job of covering the Stanley Cup final. I was there as a credentialed member of the media.
You were.
And I was, as I've often said, the Florida Panthers do not win a Stanley Cup final game without Billy Goat in attendance. And that is a fact. You can look it up. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to keep that streak alive this year. And I reached out to the people in this company that deal with credentials. And I said, hey, I'd like to offer my services to cover the Stanley Cup final again because I think that we did a great job. I know we have a hockey show now, but I want to pitch in if we have to. Last year, I don't want to say we carried it with God Bless Hockey, but we did, I think a lot of significant lifting. Then, Roy got his head out and he did a hockey show now, so they don't necessarily need my services as much as they did last year. But I still volunteered, I can go, I can cover the game, be it on social, be it on the hockey show, or just, being informed on this show. So I offered to go, and I'd said I'd like a credential. And then Roy informed me that the credential process was closed on May 30th, which I don't know that I believe. I think Roy's trying to keep me away from the Stanley Cup final.
On May 30th, you were not ready to talk Panthers, though.
Well, no team had been decided by May 30th, and last year, after the teams were decided, is when my credential was put in. So unless they changed the process or whatever, something happened where Roy's telling me that I can't go to credential, I don't know if I believe it. And I'm not ready to declare hockey as dead, but if that's how we're treating credentialed members of the media, we're locking them out of covering their hometown teams during the Stanley Cup final, then, what are we going to do? How am I going to help grow the sport?
I heard Rose is in charge of credentials
Really?
now, so I think if you talk to her, she can get you.
You went to the wrong person.
I did. I went to Cynthia and Roy, but I'm now going to loop in Rose and say, hey, Rose. Not going to do John because I don't know what
Are you
going
to go to
I'd show up to.
Edmonton?
What?
Are you going to go to Edmonton?
No, come on.
Chris,
I have a family.
Are you going to go to Edmonton?
No one's going to Edmonton.
I want to so badly.
Which is Edmonton?
There
the
are no
Canucks?
directees. I'm telling you right now. It's like an 8-hour trip. Mike, you're not going to Edmonton, are you?
14
8 hours.
14 hours?
14-hour travel day when you include the layovers.
I think you need to take sled dogs at some point, too.
Do you have intentions of going to Edmonton?
I would like to, like from a hockey experience, a Stanley Cup final where your team is playing against a Canadian team.
Yes.
That's an experience that you often dream about. However, because the Panthers specifically have home ice in this, I don't think I can make the schedule work. I'm either missing a wedding or my wife's birthday.
Wow.
She's had plenty of those.
Wow.
Whose wedding, though?
Yeah.
So it's like it's a cousin. It's a cousin-in-law. And it's not
In-laws.
One of Cynthia's cousins.
Cousin-in-law?
I love her, but it's also not the first marriage.
Okay, then you don't need to go.
What?
I was going to ask, what do we think are the chances of this
Even if
works
you
out?
weren't going to Edmonton, you shouldn't go.
Hold on. Did you go to the first? Did you go to the first marriage?
And is it in Miami?
I wasn't around for the first marriage, so yeah. And I've been around for a while, so.
Okay, so that one barely counts then.
Did Cynthia go to the first marriage?
She did.
Did she get a gift?
Did she get a gift?
Did she get a gift for the cousin?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, definitely.
Oh, then no second wedding gift, right? Do we agree on that?
I think
You don't need to buy people 2 wedding gifts, even if it's a second marriage.
here's
You
the
got
thing.
your one.
I mean,
it was-
depends.
If you liked it so much, you should have gotten it in the divorce, but that's a story.
We RSVP'd yes because when the invite came, this was a discussion. I saw the date, and I'm like, just know,
Right.
we're at RSVP yes, but there's a chance that we're in the Stanley Cup final at this time, and just file that one away. And sure enough, it's poked its head because if the Panthers had home ice, I could just go to the wedding because thankfully it's a daytime wedding.
Sure.
and
love that.
And I could have just jetted
Question.
over to Game 3.
Was the first spouse, did they pass away or was it a divorce?
No, they're amicable divorce.
I don't know what I'm rooting for here.
Yeah, I know. Do you like the spouse? Ex-spouse?
Yeah.
Who do you like better, the ex-spouse or the future spouse?
I like them both.
Yeah.
I like them both.
You have
you
an
gotta
out
pick
now,
one.
though.
Cop out,
I mean,
yeah.
you have to go to Edmonton, but
Shop
you have
for
an
your
out.
life.
I mean,
Yeah, but I've always wanted to go to Edmonton. I just don't think it's going to be in the cards. But I'm really excited about this Stanley Cup. It's not the Canucks, it's the Oilers. It's Oilers, Florida, and it's a dream matchup. You have arguably the game's biggest star in Connor McDavid, a guy that's reputed to be its best player, against, I'll say it right now, the best Florida Panthers team of all time. So yeah, this should be great hockey. I was probably, if you would have had me on Truth Serum, I probably would have preferred Edmonton get the draw from a what our chances are point of view, because I'm a huge fan of the Dallas Stars. I think their depth would provide to be a problem. But
the Stars made you nervous.
They did. The
They
Tanev
did.
injury did kind of change things because we'll probably find out. I think that dude broke his foot blocking a puck, and all that dude does is block pucks. But Edmonton poses a sincere threat, not just because they have two individual talents in Draisaitl and McDavid that can just, as McDavid showed last night, they didn't get a lot of shots. He provided one hell of a chance just by his God-given natural ability. I kind of fear centerman more, as we've seen throughout this playoff run. There have been some really top-tier wingers that have gone up against the Florida Panthers, and they've been fairly neutralized. Kucherov, Panarin was neutralized. Pastrnak had his games, but also neutralized, even though he plays a different type of game. I think how you bother Florida is more direct play. Center of the ice was totally erased against New York, but they're not this muscular team. They're not this tough team. Zach Hyman, who's commonly referred to as Shaq Hyman, is a 50-goal scorer, and what he does is he parks his big body in front of that goalie, and he makes life difficult. We'll see if Edmonton's going to be able to do what New York either just wasn't able to or didn't even really try to do. So it's a really interesting clash of styles. Tkachuk has his history with Edmonton. It should be a really great Stanley Cup final.
Is it fair to say that Edmonton's path to the final was a little bit easier than the Panthers? And
Yeah.
will that come into play at all?
Yeah, well, keep in mind, they did beat Dallas, so it's like Highlander. You get credit for, I guess, Dallas's victories because Dallas went through a really great Vegas team. They went through Colorado. They had the Nishishkin thing fall on their heads, and that probably altered that series. But I'm really surprised to see Edmonton here. They did not play well against Vancouver, and I thought headed back to Edmonton, they'd once again fold under the weight of these expectations. I was kind of manifesting a Dallas score 4 minutes into that game, and
Right.
the entire nervous energy of a country falls upon that barn.
You
But
were also just hoping for the direct flight to Dallas on American.
Hub City to Hub City would have been.
What an
You can be
easier.
honest.
Yes.
Yeah, Hub City to Hub City would have been pretty great.
The
Yes.
thing about this series is we're not just playing against Edmonton.
Right.
We're going up against the entire country of Canada.
Really?
Yeah, but
mean,
you have all of America behind you.
That's true.
Well,
Is that what this is?
I mean, I bet
it's
if,
us.
I mean,
It's us versus
when's
Canada.
the last time Canada won a Stanley Cup?
19
I mean, the
93.
Canadians have won
1993.
23 of them.
I'm a
So
hockey expert.
Yeah, 1993. I think the last time a Canadian team was in the Stanley Cup was during the pandemic. Montreal was randomly in the Western Conference, and they
knew?
played.
I think
Wow.
Canadian teams have won 37 Stanley Cups, though.
They haven't won since 93.
What have you done
Just-
for me lately?
When was the
Yes.
Panthers? When did they? What was their first
96?
season?
Oh,
So
no, 94 was their first
thought you
season.
meant
it's been
1993.
longer. Like all of Florida's entire life
Yeah.
as a hockey team.
Yeah, this is our 30th
Wow.
anniversary as a
No
team. But
Canadian Stanley
you
Cup.
mentioned the Oilers' path. Let's reflect on what the Panthers' path is right now, because you couldn't have drawn up a more intimidating / a more fun path, especially when you've gone through 3 of them already. Your hated rival in Tampa Bay, that was Daddy, that was your boogeyman. You got rid of them. You dispatched them in the first series. Then you go through the Boston Bruins and their fan base, a team that was a President's Trophy winner last year, that on the last day still had the division lead. You go through them, and then you go through the President's Trophy winning New York Rangers. Again, there's that pesky Biden Cup curse, Billy.
Yep.
And now you're against Canada.
Well,
I don't think there's a better, more
all of
interesting
Canada.
path.
Yes.
I've been told otherwise. I've been told that all of Canada is not rooting for Edmonton.
Well, like Calgary Flames fans are
Yeah.
certainly rooting for Matthew Tkachuk and the Florida Panthers.
My wife was railing about the Canadian teams in the NHL last night. She became a hockey fan this week, and she was railing, saying, why don't they have their own league? And I said if they had their own league, they would be the better league.
Well, if they only had Canadian players.
Well,
Could-
that's what she was saying,
Oh.
yes.
When they regrouped the divisions for the pandemic, during the pandemic, they regrouped the divisions, which is why Montreal found itself in the West. And there was like all the Canadian teams were grouped together, and that was kind of fun.
I mean, Edmonton, people don't realize this, but Edmonton has won 5 Stanley Cups. Like, Edmonton is...
People don't realize this.
I don't think people... Because
People
they won
don't
them back
realize
in
the
the
Boston
80s.
Celtics have won quite a bit.
You're right. What else do people not realize?
I think people do realize that
That's a good
Edmonton.
game.
It's what they have. Like they were the club of Gretzky and Messier.
Yeah, I think people are aware of that, perhaps, but
Maybe.
it's been a while. I
Right.
think it's fair to say
Since the
that
80s.
This is the most.
They haven't
now
been-
that Connor McDavid is on the Oilers, is like the most relevant they've been since that.
Yeah, they haven't. Well, 2006 they made the Cup final. I think they played Carolina. It's been a while since it's almost been like 20 years since that franchise has been there. And yeah, you mentioned Connor McDavid, and I imagine the hype machine will grow because he's a kind of name that people have maybe heard about. If you 100 people surveyed, name a hockey player, maybe a casual sports fan might rattle that name off first. And he's incredibly brilliant. He showed last night exactly why he's hyped. He's probably not going to win the Hart Trophy this year, but he's won 3 Hart Trophies in his career. In fact, I saw a cool graphic. What was the draft year? But there was a year that the top picks were Aaron Ekblad, Sam Bennett, Leon Draisaitl, Sam Reinhart went 2nd overall that year. So you have the top 4 picks of that draft all in this series. There's a lot of talent on the ice.
Chris, how was your Saturday night? Like, you were at the game, they clinched, they're going to the Cup. How was that night?
I mean, the barn was rocking.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the Rangers fans got a lot of credit for taking over, quote unquote, our arena, but I
Right.
actually think that was overstated. There were a lot of Rangers fans, but the Panthers this fan base is excited right now. That arena, when it's rocking, is loud.
Mike gave me a signal like I went to the wrong person there. Like, he had a better Saturday night than you did.
He probably did.
My Saturday night quickly went into Sunday morning. I got home at like 5 a.m.
Oh,
Whoa.
Yeah, it was just a spur of the moment.
Wowzers.
Turn to the wife. Hey, let's keep it going. Let's go to space. We went.
to space?
Yeah, we went to space.
At 5?
17.
No. We stayed at space till 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had a sitter. Mom and Dad went out on the town in their Panthers gear.
Did the sitter know they were staying until 5
No,
a.m.?
the sitter was my dad.
Poor
so she
Lucy.
was.
I was going to say.
It wasn't possible, but no, it was a great look. This is the hardest trophy in sports to win.
Right.
The Florida Panthers have only been to the final twice. I'm not taking it for granted. I'm really enjoying it because this team, for much of my life, was perpetually 5 points out of the final playoff spot with 2 games in hand and always a punchline. And not only that, but you operated in a state in which Tampa Bay just bossed things, and you were reminded of your shortcomings constantly. And now fast forward here, Florida's conquered that Tampa Bay team, and you can kind of have a little state pride in that for 5 straight years, a Florida team has been in the Stanley Cup final.
I tried to FaceTime Whitty at 1 a.m. from
Right.
quarterdeck.
Yeah.
He didn't answer.
That was your Saturday
Yeah.
night.
Well, he's a big Oilers fan, I hear, so he was
yeah.
probably getting ready for Sunday.
Witty, I saw that tweet. Commas are great.
What?
Overrated.
What was
I
the
mean,
tweet?
It ended with "Come on the lads."
Huh.
What?
This is a big Stanley Cup for you, Stugotz, because
How do you spell cum?
it's a big do it in the Stanley Cup finals for Connor McDavid and for the Panthers.
Yes, I win either way. Right. Someone's going to still have to do it in the Stanley Cup after this series is over. I'm very excited about that. I love that Chris went to the quarterdeck, though, and tried to FaceTime with Woody, and Mike went out to South Beach, where no one had any idea that the Panthers had advanced to the Stanley Cup.
It wasn't South Beach. It was right here, right downtown. But yet there was actually one
Well,
instance
Good thing
where
you
there was like
story.
a Rangers. There's a lot of New Yorkers that were
closed.
going to space for closing weekend, and so my Panthers gear irked a couple of people that didn't know how plugged in I was, and they did not get in.
Right. At 5 a.m., you get home, and how does that work? Because you're both out. I used to get home at 5 a.m., but Abby was home.
How it works is I slept in
with your child.
I slept in to 9:45, which is for any parent incredibly late.
Right.
I woke up, I picked up my daughter, and my wife's a hero. She got to rest up that day. That was Daddy's day to, just trudge along and find a way. And find a way he did. Not unlike our Florida Panthers.
Yeah, they didn't touch the Prince of Wales trophy, huh?
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
But
they learned from last year.
Last year
the
they
Oilers
did.
also didn't
put their hands all over that thing.
Exactly right.
The Oilers also decided that we're not going to make this a team that touches versus a team that doesn't touch type of deal. We're both just not going to touch. Now that we know what the Panthers did, so no matter what, a loser will be a team that didn't touch, and a winner will be a team that didn't touch.
Someone touched.
The question is, were they going to touch if Maurice told them not to? Because everyone was running with the video of Maurice going to Barkov before.
No one touch it.
No,
But
he
Bark-
gives them the signal.
Right.
Barkey revealed in the press conference that Maurice asked him to not touch it last year too, and they still touched it. So
Well, they
I don't
learned
think it
their
matters
lesson.
what Paul
Right.
Maurice says.
This year it wasn't an ask.
Yeah,
Well,
this
the
year,
results, though.
this year he made it abundantly clear we're not touching that thing. But last year's
it was a demand this year.
Again, we have to really look back on the year that we experienced last year. We had 2 8 seeds that nobody expected
And
make
Messi.
the final, and Messi all happened. But
And the Marlins.
That's
both
right.
teams lost in the finals. The Florida Panthers were just a mash unit by the end of it. It was great seasons both teams had respectively, and you kind of knew entering those finals that the odds were kind of stacked against you, and that it had been so long, particularly for the Florida Panthers franchise, that Eastern Conference championship did mean something. So you reveled in it, and last year was very much, man, I'm just happy to be here. I've wanted to be something other than 5 points out of the final playoff spot with 2 games in hand for most of my hockey life, and now I'm here, and it did kind of feel like an arrival. You had that pain. You've only won 1 Stanley Cup game in your franchise's history. Thank you very much, Billy Gill, for doing that.
He was there.
I'm trying. I went around Roy and I reached out to Rose, so we'll see. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying to do my darndest here.
We would love you to be there because they win 1,000% of the Stanley Cup final games you attend as a credentialed media member.
No, they did lose another one.
Well, 50% is still pretty
So
good.
you're 1-1?
Yeah, 1-1.
Okay.
But I do my part. How come Catherine and what's his name aren't there for the presentation, and William for the presentation of the trophy?
Oh, because of the
Prince of Wales. Yeah, he's the Prince of Wales now.
Yeah. You would think that he'd be there for that.
I would want to be. If I had a trophy named the Billy Gill Trophy, I'd probably be there.
I think she has cancer.
That's a whole thing.
Unnecessary.
There's a big debate there as well.
It's
a whole thing.
It's an important fact, though, if indeed it's true.
I mean,
do
you want me to tell?
they don't do it anyways, but
They should.
yeah.
What?
Explain, please.
No, I mean, what do you want me to say? That she
He's
should get on an
alluding
airplane anyways
to
and
the
go,
fact that
even though
there's
she
still
has cancer?
conspiracy theories going on about her.
Oh,
But we don't have to talk about that
I'm
here.
trying not to.
okay. Juju, are we expressing proper excitement for one of our local teams being in the finals? I don't feel like I can because Roy's not here. I got to be honest.
We usually go to him for
I
excitement.
have a follow-up
Well,
question.
I have to be honest. There are only 2 people who can enjoy the Panthers being in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Me?
Roy is one, and my friend Walter Katz. And that's about it. I mean, Katzy has been there since day one. He goes to games. They're 20 games below 500. He is sitting there on a Tuesday night for Panthers and Penguins. He's been there forever. So he could be excited today. Roy could be excited today. But, Juju, I don't feel like we're properly expressing our gratitude and our excitement towards the Panthers. And perhaps it's because I said only 2 people can be excited. I don't know.
I think you're just displaying the proper amount. It's like you've been here before. You're acting like it.
Right.
And you just have the
Win the cup.
Right. You have the fresh Stanley Cup loss right on the stench of your jacket still. So I think it's wise to show the resolve that you guys are showing.
Playing
this
it cool.
I have a question for you, Juju.
Playing
As
it
someone
cool.
who doesn't care about the Panthers, is this too much Panthers talk?
No, absolutely not. When your
Okay.
team goes to the championship, I think it should be talked about no matter what. Like,
Okay.
salute. You've made a Florida Panthers fan out of me over the last couple of years just because I love Mike. You feel me? But a lot of people, the haters are always going to say, "Oh, you make me hate the Panthers. Let them hate. Watch out.
Yeah.
We're in the Stanley Cup. You guys are in the Stanley Cup."
I've noticed that our audience seems to like this Panthers team more than the Heat. I feel like our audience, the
Give 'em
way we
time.
cover these
Well, they're
teams,
still playing and the
Give
Heat
'em-
aren't.
give
No,
'em
I
time.
mean just
I
in
mean-
general though. I think our fans root against the Heat. Where I've seen a lot of tweets more than I ever with the Heat of I've turned into a Panthers fan. Maybe it's because people weren't into hockey at all.
No, I think I hate the Panthers the least of all the Florida teams
Yeah.
that you guys
That's
like.
high praise. That's high praise.
And I really do think partially it's because of Roy.
Well,
It's not
And if
just
Roy
that.
were here, we would be getting more enthusiasm, I think.
And
because
Walter Katz,
He,
yeah.
I mean,
Patsy.
It's not just that. I think we all have the governor like, we're talking hockey for more than 5 minutes, so we should probably stop. So I think it's actually quite overstated how much we talk about hockey in the middle of championship runs. Last week, like if we talked hockey, maybe 2-3 segments a show. When you look at the balance of the week, I mean, we often talk about Dak Prescott more than that. So I think we're good.
Justin Jefferson signed a 4-year, $140 million contract.
But he was hanging around the Jets facility last week.
Well,
Right.
that's how negotiations
With the
work.
Vikings, though.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
J.J. McCarthy, Rookie of the Year.
Get
Wow.
out
Put
of
a
here.
flyer on it.
Why?
I don't know.
J.J.
not?
McCarthy? You see C.J. Stroud made he had a top 5 list of quarterbacks. It's the rare current quarterback who comes up with a top 5 list of current quarterbacks.
Did he make it?
Is he on it? Yeah.
He put himself third.
Wow.
What?
He did. He put himself third.
No, you got to give us all 5.
He had Lamar Jackson 2.
It's a weird way you're doing this.
Yeah, wait.
It is a weird way to do it.
Why don't you start with 5?
Well, I
So
got to
then-
think of who 5. Well, because he changed his list after he made it.
What?
So originally,
Mahomes has to be number 1, right?
originally it was Jalen Hurts at number 5.
The order we're doing this.
It was Dak Prescott at
wait,
number
wait.
4. I don't have it in
No,
front of
you-
me.
you
I'm
should've
doing this
saved
off
4.
memory.
Dak?
It was Dak at number 4. Yes. It was CJ at number 3. It was Lamar at number 2. It was Mahomes at number 1.
You know
And
what?
Who's his
then-
top white quarterback?
What is
And then,
going on?
well, this is interesting. This is where it gets interesting. And then CJ redid his list.
What?
He took Jalen Hurts out and inserted Josh Allen in. Someone got to
It's
him.
like, what's the opposite of a Rooney rule?
I mean, fair play not putting yourself above Patrick Mahomes,
No,
right?
no. If you're going to do it and put yourself third, put yourself number 1.
I think he should have put himself
Is
second.
he friends with Dak? That's a weird one.
Exactly. It's like putting plain Lay's potato chips on the top.
Zadaki.
I have a theory that if you could redraft all the NFL quarterbacks, there's only one that you would take over C.J. Stroud at this point. It's clearly Patrick Mahomes, but
How about Joe Burrow?
I would that would be the
He
one.
left out Joe Burrow.
I mean, Joe Burrow's coming off of like a year where he dealt with injuries,
Yeah.
and we don't know for sure if this was the list. We're banking on
No,
your
it's-
recollection.
I am
here.
telling
It's-
you with 100% certainty,
Yeah.
off the top of my head, I got that list right.
Yeah, Burrow's a
If
name
there's
that
one
you
thing you
forget.
can rely on Stugotz for, it's remembering a quarterback's list of quarterbacks.
I was so excited. I've never seen a quarterback give a top 5 list of quarterbacks.
Yeah, I don't think you can actually ignore like some of the reasons why people forget about Burrow is this recent string of injuries there. So you consider that. Whoever's picking number 2 in this fantasy QB draft, they've got a tough decision at 2, CJ or Burrow.
He took Lamar Jackson.
I'm just saying he's being humble. Lamar's accomplished a lot. MVP.
Who do you think's the crappiest quarterback that would put themselves in the top 5?
Great question.
Honestly, most of them I think would.
Yeah.
Mitch Trubisky.
Like, is Tua putting? Would Tua put himself in the top 5? No, right?
I hope so.
Last year he found.
Don't
his
you
voice a
want
little
your
bit.
quarterback to put?
That should be the test.
Yeah.
With
before-
Aaron Rodgers?
Before they give him the contract.
Have y'all
Aaron-
seen Tua's curls?
Yeah.
Oh, he got curls for the girls.
Clean
right now.
cut too, shave.
He looks great.
Looks like a kid.
He is a kid.
What?
He shaved his like.
You didn't
went
see this?
Clean
I
shaven.
saw it.
Got the curls
Okay.
going.
But he is a kid.
Where would
Technically
Jared
not.
Goff have him?
Top 5.
No, I don't think so.
Yes, he would.
If your quarterback's
Stafford, top 5
if your
for sure.
quarterback's not putting themselves in top 5, I don't want you to be my quarterback.
Zagak.
Right.
Like at all. Like go away.
Is Purdy putting himself in the top 5?
No,
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
think so?
Not with a straight face.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, he is.
really?
Yeah. You don't think so?
Wow,
I don't know.
I'm seeing a photo of Tua right now on our screens. that doesn't look like Tua to me.
He letting his soul glow, goddamn.
I like his shirt.
You got it at Macy's.
Beautiful Monstera leaf.
I got to be honest. I would not give him $55 million based on that look.
What?
Stugotz, we were talking earlier this morning about the French Open.
Yes.
And Coco Gauff was saying how she didn't like that matches were going till 3 a.m. local time at Roland Garros because of weather delays and all of that. But you selfishly enjoy it because you have time to get home from work and watch the matches despite the time zones.
The time difference is interesting. It's weird because I agree with what she's saying. She said they're unhealthy. And she was talking about Novak Djokovic, who got done with a match at like 3 a.m., didn't get to sleep till 7 a.m., has to stretch afterwards, has to do media afterwards. And she said it's unhealthy. And it is unhealthy. But selfishly, I want to watch Coco Gauff. And the only way I can watch it is if they put her matches at night.
Yeah, that's
because the time difference doesn't work otherwise.
That's how I'm picturing Mike's morning on Sunday. He gets home at 5 a.m. He has to stretch. He's got to go through it's probably an ice bath. I'm assuming a shower at
cold
least.
Shower.
If you're at Space till 5, you
Right.
have to take a shower.
Yeah, cold shower.
Did anyone else at Space know the Panthers had advanced to the Stanley
There
Cup?
was one jersey in there.
Really?
Yeah, there was one jersey. In there.
Ironically, or like
No. There was one dude that was just like so happy to see another Panther fan.
Right.
Big hug, victory shot, the whole deal. But no one else. There was a couple, like I said, New Yorkers that barked.
Right.
But there wasn't a lot of like, hey, go Panthers. That's not really. I don't know what the Venn diagram is for Panthers fans and people that find themselves at Space.
It's a roar, right? That's what Panthers fans do.
Yeah, and claws. You put
Right.
your claws up to your face.
I think it was
like
also
the old
swim
logo.
week this weekend, so
Yeah,
you were
maybe all the
probably-
Panthers fans were at swim week.
probably.
No, they
That's-
were at the quarter deck. I mean, that's where you go post game for a Panthers game, is it not?
The locals.
Right.
Yeah.
Where do they do the parade if we win one in Sunrise?
We were talking about this, and that's getting ahead of
The
ourselves.
outlet mall.
I don't
for
think
sure.
it
When
is.
we win,
I would think Las Solas
Las
on the
Solas,
river.
right.
I
A
think
boat
like
parade.
a river.
A boat parade?
Boat parade, the way that the Lightning do theirs on
not
the
the
river.
outskirts of the Sawgrass Mills Mall.
It should start there.
That
I
would be
think.
convenient for me.
Let's go to the
Yeah.
rainforest. Let's do it.
Ooh, that'd be awesome.
Flamingo
Closes at-
Boulevard.
Closes at 6 p.m. though.
Rainforest Cafe closed at 6?
It does, dude. I'm telling you. I've tried
What?
to. I'm telling you
Every
because
day?
the mall closes. I'm
Hold
telling you,
on.
it's inside the mall. There's no.
The mall closes at 6?
Well, there's
I'm
the
telling you,
Oasis, but the actual like mall.
I'm
Hold
telling
on
you,
a second.
Rainforest Cafe closes at an odd time.
No way.
I've tried to
6
take my daughter
p.m.
there.
You can't get a dinner there. You have to do.
I'm telling you, because it's not. You can't get
Brunch?
there. You
No,
have
wait.
to be in the mall.
Chris, this is a place where parents take their kids.
Happy hour ends at 6 p.m.
Well, then
that's-
pretty.
That's all
pretty
Chris
rare.
knows.
Yeah.
Right? That's all he knows.
You might as well. be
Chris
close.
doesn't know when bars close.
It's
He just knows
11
when happy
okay,
hours
so-
are.
Flanagan's happy hour
What time's it
lasts
closed overall?
9
18
p.m.
hours.
Monday through Saturday, 11 to 9. Sunday, 11 to 8. That's still early
Maybe
for
it was
a
a
restaurant.
Sunday.
It was the happy hour.
It was the
swear,
happy hour.
I've tried to bring my daughter there once,
Graceland?
and they were like, they're not seating anymore.
Closed at 6.
Speaking of
It's a happy hour.
Flanagans, did anyone go to the Flannies Marlins game?
I
and get the
assume Billy.
jersey?
I assume Billy went. So Saturday was like a stacked sports day because there was the Champions League final,
Yeah.
and then Panthers had Game 6 and Sunrise. So I had initially bought tickets, super excited. Again, not unlike the wedding for the cousin, where I saw the date. I'm like, this one could potentially be tricky. And sure enough, I ended up buying tickets, but I couldn't attend the game. But I did find some friends that were willing to go and take the free ticket, and I did secure the bag. I have
Willing
the
to
Flanagans.
go.
Right.
Yeah, I.
Free ticket. I mean,
I got the cup and I got the
Yeah.
Flannies
Wow.
green Marlins
You got the
jersey.
jersey.
Yep.
But you're not wearing the jersey.
No, I have to pick it up from my friend
Oh.
Firmo.
Hold on a second. So you gave away your tickets in exchange for getting the giveaway?
Yeah. That's all
That
I
doesn't
want.
seem
I
like a
wasn't,
fair trade.
I wasn't actually gonna like spend time at that ballpark in that game. It doesn't really do much for me. I just wanted the jersey.
Well,
Right.
from what I saw, it was a chore to get those giveaways.
Yeah, there was like a
so you
10,000
have a good
person-
friend because I heard that they ran out of cups.
Well, my
from
friend-
someone who was here, they didn't get one of the cups.
What?
Yeah, there was only 10,000 cups, so they were in the
There
line.
were
They
more
didn't-
than 10,000 people
Yeah,
there?
they didn't
Yeah,
get the
yeah.
cup,
It
but
was
they
like
got
single
the
file.
jersey.
So my
For the
friend,
cup.
kind of knew that this
promotion.
might be a scene. He's a big baseball
why they
guy,
do
not
it.
unlike
Yeah.
yourself. He got there early, and it wasn't mission. There was some friends that were at the bright side with us watching the Champions League game that also had tickets. And as the game approached halftime, they're like, "We're gonna run to Lone Depot Park real quick to get our jersey."
Loan.
They got there. And they realized, oh, this is a huge line.
Yeah.
So they didn't end up actually getting their jerseys in. They just came back to the bar.
I heard that they also, like, if you were in that line, it was a separate entrance. And if you were in that line at one point, they texted, like, the people with the tickets and they're like, you can come in. Like, you'll get your thing. Don't worry. Like, you'll get a jersey. Don't wait in this line because it was like the 4th inning and the line was still going on.
Why doesn't Flanagan's just sell baseball jerseys?
Huh.
Feels like they could make a lot of money, and
fair-
you
it's a fair
don't have
question.
to drive to Lone Depot Park on a Saturday afternoon.
But a very successful promotion.
Yeah, great
people.
promotion.
Yeah,
Well,
but
10,000 people.
People wanted those Flanagans
apparently
jerseys.
21,000 people were there, according to Jer Bear.
Yeah, that was the announced attendance. I can look and see what the rest
So
of the weekend looked
cut
like.
that in
but
half, give or take, because
But they were all there
we
for the
know they're
cup, for
juicing
the
it,
giveaway,
but-
right?
They were there
so
for the jersey,
there were
the
11,000 that were upset, correct?
Did the Marlins win?
Because you're just stuck
No.
watching the Marlins.
Saturday they
Right.
didn't.
They didn't.
No, they
Yeah.
won Friday.
They're bad.
Well, you know, they
No,
could be worse.
It's early.
It's early. There's still plenty of baseball
We're
left.
also
to be
playing the
played.
World Series champion.
Exactly right. Defending champions.
Does it matter?
I don't know if that matters with the crowd, but maybe like.
Does it
hey,
matter who they play? Is what I'm saying.
I think casual baseball fans that maybe don't have their loyalty with the Marlins, but still like the game, but they're living here, they might be like, hey, let's see the reigning world champs are in town this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm checking out the line right now. It
That
makes me
line is
sad.
crazy.
No,
It
it's
was a-
long,
it
but it
was
makes
a-
me sad. That's what it takes to get 20,000 people to a Marlins
there
game.
were 11,000 people there on Friday and 13,000 on Sunday, 21,000 on Saturday when this promotion was there. So basically the amount that you had on the two other games combined against the World Series champs.
Do you think there's a meeting this morning about permanently partnering with Flanagans?
It's a busy time in the sports calendar.
You can't overdo it, though.
Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are going to be there on
I
Wednesday
saw that.
throwing out the first pitch. They're
That's
taking
great.
For
over.
Bad
What?
Boys.
Yeah,
Is it
Bad Boys Forever
Yep.
2.
Really?
Yeah.
Bad 4 boys.
Bad Boys Forever
Well,
Part 2.
it's like they didn't anticipate that they would make a fourth one because the
Yeah,
third
yeah.
one in the franchise was Bad Boys for Life, and
Yeah.
you gotta.
Once you go for life,
keep
that's
that in
it.
your-
It's over.
But you got to keep that one in
But
your
the
back
number 4
pocket
was
so you
in
can
there,
do the
too.
number 4.
Yeah, exactly.
Bad Boys
Oh, man.
for
Should
life.
have been 3
Right.
life. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
midnight.
Like Girls 5 Ever.
Now it should be Bad Boys Forever.
Yeah.
They didn't call me, so
More
they
than
don't- they
4
don't get that.
life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that end it forever?
No.
I mean, no.
Well,
No.
it depends how they do.
Keeps the door open a bit, right?
If they do well, there will be a 5th Bad Boys.
Are you going to see it?
Maybe.
They're throwing out the first pitch?
Yeah.
Really?
Big
Mike
deal.
Fuentes just showed me that on eBay you can get the Marlins Flanagans jersey for $115.
I was looking to see how much the cup was going for since they ran out.
Honestly, might be worth it. You don't have to drive all the way to the ballpark. The tickets were probably, like $5, $6.
Listeners of
pay
this
for
fan,
parking.
You're saying the
listeners of-
driving, the amount of tickets, the money you spend on tickets, the money you spend on concessions. I would pay $115 and stay at home.
Wow.
Listeners of this podcast by now know about Flanagans, but it is a curious thing that it is such a hyper local sponsorship that got these fans out there. Even though Flanagans is also a publicly traded company, it only exists in South Florida. It doesn't even exist in Central Florida.
We should do a Flanagans Day on the Le Batard Show.
I feel like every
Every
day
day
is
is
Flanagan's
That's
Day.
so
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
What am I thinking?
You should expand Flanagans outside of this state.
What?
I'm sure they've
Why
had
not?
several thoughts to do that, but
We should sell cups with Dan's face on it in the Flanagan style, but it just be
Yes.
like a red
Danigans.
cup.
Wow,
Yeah,
Danigans.
I like it.
Danigans
Come on,
is
man,
good.
merch shop.
I will say this. Last year they had a Flanagan's Day, and they did kind of get criticized for how lazy the cups
The
were.
cups,
'cause
yeah.
It was just a Flanagan's cup, and like on the side they found
We
an
were
empty
the ones who
spot.
criticized
Yeah,
them.
yeah. We had some of
I
those.
think it's that cup that just like
Yeah, look, it's right
lazily
over- I
had a
think-
Marlins logo on
we
it.
have one right over there.
So
But
what
this
did
year
they
they-
do differently this year?
Well, they put it
Papa
on.
Joe has a
they put
hat
it on
on.
Papa
oh,
Joe.
that's
Yeah.
cute.
Next year, I would say you put Billy the Marlins face in there, right? Like Papa Joe's style.
I think they have to make it Marlins colors, like make it
Like a teal-
an
make a
iconic
teal cup, yeah.
limited edition cup.
Flanagan's Cup. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Flanagan's, Marlins, if you're out there listening, we're here if you'd like to send us some of these so we can kind of see them in person and give an honest, actual assessment of it because we're just relying on pictures.
And
so.
rock and rib rolls.
I don't want a teal Flanagan's cup.
Why not?
Yeah, it's got to be green. I said that.
It's got to
back
be
here.
green.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Green
You
or
hate
pink?
breast
It's the
cancer
original
awareness.
cup. Yes.
Billy,
Jeez.
no one's gonna understand that reference.
Well, they have pink breast cancer awareness cups. That's not good enough for you guys because it's not green.
It just doesn't feel like a Flanagan's cup unless it's green. That's all I'm saying. I think that's all Chris is saying.
It washes your dog the same way.
I wouldn't have been interested in the Flanagans Marlins jersey or the Flanagans Marlins cup if it came in teal or whatever Marlins colors. I'm getting it specifically because the Marlins are the ones that are fitting into the Flanagan scheme and not the other way around.
I'd rock a teal cup.
Yeah, Flanagan's is the bigger brand.
Speaking of big brands, Kennedy Carter got in trouble for pushing Caitlin Clark in the back this weekend.
Seemed
You feel me?
intentional. Yeah.
I did watch some of that game.
Yeah, it was obviously intentional.
Don't accidentally.
I mean, no one likes her.
Good read on the situation. Stu.
It seems like no one likes her. It does. What did she do
But
wrong?
it was clearly intentional, is our joke. Yeah.
I know, I get it.
Probably
She
did a huge
accidentally
number, yeah.
just pushed her.
But why are we doing this to poor Caitlin Clark?
Man, we
Oh,
can
God.
ease
Poor
up on the
Caitlin
poor
Clark.
Caitlin Clark
Come on.
situations. Like, yeah, because she's still a hooper. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think this is more so, look, if somebody come in here right now and push y'all the same way Kennedy pushed Caitlin, I would beat their ass. I would at least show them that you cannot touch Mike. You can't touch Chris. You better you better not touch no damn Jessica. So I feel like her teammates need to show a little bit more like spunk in defending their friend.
Do you have someone from like Coward Show or like McAfee coming in here and shoving us? Like, who's coming in here to shove us?
Dan Patrick for sure. Who else?
Seton, that goon.
Yes. Yep. Or Fritzy. One of
Fritzy,
those two.
for sure.
Rich Eisen. Oh, Rich Eisen on your ass, too.
I don't
You
care.
better look out for him.
Why? What's he doing now?
He heard what you said.
About what?
This
You know
just a
what you
Just
did.
body of
hypothetical.
work?
Lazy River
I would
stew.
kick his ass, man.
We do this.
I don't think you could
that
beat
is. A
I don't think I
flop.
could either.
That's
Yeah.
a flop from Caitlin.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's not messed up and that, I mean, very clearly intentional, but a little extra there by Caitlin.
I
Come
think
on.
that if the refs hadn't completely missed this call, this doesn't become the level of like, this doesn't have the same level of vitriol in it in the whole like conversation around it. But if there's two things that are true, one, WNBA officiating is not great. It's not very good. And two, things when you see a clip like this on Twitter, it's going to get blown out of proportion in a way that becomes bigger than like what it actually was in that game. Like in that game, I was watching it with Lucy while we were making we were painting little tote bags. We were having a little arts and crafts day. So after the game ended, I was offline for like 6 or 7 hours. And then when I went on Twitter, I was like, wait, what's going on? Like, I can't believe people are talking. This happened in the third quarter. It wasn't even like in the final stretch of the game. Like, they had even interviewed Caitlin right at the quarter break and asked her about it. And she said that she didn't think it was a basketball play. It should have been a flagrant. And I thought that had kind of been the end of it. And then it just like the conversation of it like kept spiraling online in a way that I was honestly pretty surprised by.
But think about what Juju was saying. I'm saying the opponents appear not to like her, and Juju is saying her teammates won't even defend her.
Which says a lot.
Right.
So what must, I mean,
Right.
speculation, but Caitlin might not be getting along with her teammates as much as we think she is.
And we're back.
We are.
Stugotz.
Yeah.
So Darren Waller is expected to retire before next week after releasing a music video last week.
Mm-hmm.
And Kobayashi has retired from the competitive food eating game,
Right.
citing that he's retiring because his body hurts.
Yes.
Which seems like the most obvious thing in the world when you eat 50,000 hot dogs.
I'm surprised it took this long, to be honest with you, on Kobayashi.
He was in really good shape, I think, considering all of the bad food that he was eating.
Yes. We were discussing during the break that we are getting dangerously close to just baseball and Joey Chestnut.
Yeah, that's how that came up.
That's where we're at in the sports calendar. Joey Chestnut and baseball.
And the WNBA.
We were just talking
And
about
the
the
WNBA.
WNBA.
I'm sorry.
Seconds ago.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But no one likes Caitlin Clark, not even her teammates.
I don't know
I
if
said
that's
it.
true. I don't know if that's true. I have heard the take that like the Fever need an enforcer. They need someone to like defend her or at least like pick her up when she falls down. And I do get that. Like I do think the other side of that though is that the Fever have had like the toughest schedule so far this season.
Right.
They're just trying to get through every game. Like last night against the Liberty was so bleak. I don't know if you even watched it, Juju.
Hell
It
yeah.
was a complete blowout. Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark both ended up going to the locker room late in the game with injuries. Hopefully they're both okay, but they're just trying to get through it. They're not a good team. They're not really getting better either.
Well, they're playing every night also.
They're
it feels
playing like every other day. They've had 11 games, I think, in 19 days or something like that. And half of them at least have been nationally televised, if not more. So I don't know. I feel like they're still trying to figure it out as a team, and this is part of that. Is just they've got a lot of young players, not a huge veteran presence on that team, and like no one's brand new head coach. Last year was her first year as a head coach in the W. First year as a head coach, I think, in her career. There's just a lot of pieces they need to
How
figure
have the
out.
Aces played 6 games and they've played 11?
Right.
The schedule, yeah.
That's
They're trying to
insane
capitalize on
scheduling.
Caitlin's star power. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They
They're gonna get her
5 days
killed.
off
It's
right
also
now.
a compressed schedule because of the Olympics.
You mentioned that you're fearing the days of just baseball going on in the sporting calendar.
Yes.
Jess is correct to point out it's an Olympic year, and also that month of July that you're probably fearing, it's one of those special every 2 years you get big time soccer tournaments.
Oh,
And
boy.
we've got Copa America. The final's actually going to be here in Miami, and
Mm-hmm.
you also have the Euros going on simultaneously. So it's not that bad of a summer.
So nothing to watch.
2 words, Indiana Fever. Liz Cambage.
Oh God, I don't know how that's gonna.
Juice
work.
ain't worth the squeeze. I'm sorry.
I didn't even-
Don't even think about it. I'm sorry.
I didn't even shoehorn the Enjoy Illinois 300 from St. Louis.
What
What
are you
is
talking
that?
about?
2 more words, Indiana Fever.
Why are you so into these fringe sports like recently?
It's
When-
a bit,
Soccer.
I think. It's not
Yellow
real.
jerseys.
What?
Oh, I like that. I didn't like the red jerseys. I'm not.
Did
gonna
you
lie.
lump soccer in as a fringe sport?
I did,
It's
yes.
the biggest sport in the world, but
It's not,
Allegedly.
though.
I watched a soccer show.
that's not how that happens.
I
The
watched
world
this-
is right here in the United States of America, and here it is not the biggest sport.
It's
I mean,
pretty big. I mean, the U.S. Women's national team played a friendly on was it Saturday or Sunday? I
Yeah,
can't
Emma
get my
Hayes'
days of
first,
the week
first game.
straight. There were a lot of people there. It is very popular.
Okay.
The Copa America final. Copa America usually just happens with South American teams. There have been a couple of exceptions.
Right.
But now you have CONCACAF in this tournament as well. So you crown a champion of North and South America. And like I said, the final is going to be a massive event at Hard Rock Stadium that is happening down here in South Florida.
Are you a summer Olympic guy or a winter Olympic guy? I don't like the summer Olympics. I don't like the games.
What?
I don't.
It all
I
depends.
don't.
For me, it
Nah.
all depends on the time.
Give
the
me some
time zone.
downhill skiing.
Summer
give me
is so
something
much
that,
better.
you know?
Are you crazy?
I don't like the Summer Olympics.
So
I'm
much
sorry.
better summer.
Yeah.
Summer is like not even a
Really?
competition. Beach volleyball? Are
summer's
you
way
kidding
better.
me?
Beach volleyball back in the 80s when Karch Karai was going at it, that was great. I mean, no, he's the greatest volleyball player ever. I mean,
summer by far is a much better viewing experience, top down, much better sports. I will say for the Winter Olympics, I have my single favorite Olympic sport,
Skeleton.
which is Olympic hockey.
Oh,
right.
what?
When the big boys are playing in it. Yeah, that Canada-USA game, it was just an all-timer.
Right.
I like the freestyle when the skaters, I think Christy Yamaguchi and them girls, salute to them girls.
Yeah.
man.
Winter games.
I like
got
the
the-
cross-country skiing that has like crossbows
Yeah.
involved as well.
And like guns.
Yeah.
Exactly
you shoot
right.
something.
It's
Right.
like
Yeah.
it's like an action movie.
They're skiing on like a flat surface.
All
they're
the
not
things
even-
you were
it's not
talking
even
about
down.
are winter games, not
Exactly.
summer games.
Yeah.
I don't
Jared
like the
Allen
summer
gonna be
games.
Is Jared Allen? I think he's training to be an Olympian.
No, he is,
Curling,
right?
yeah.
We had him on, right?
Yeah, curling.
But he was
Isn't there-
far from making it the last time we spoke to him.
Yeah.
There's golf in this Olympics, right? Like last Olympics was
Yes.
the first
Yeah, but I don't
time
care.
in
Winter
there-
golf?
Yeah.
No, summer
Summer
golf.
Oh, I
golf.
was going to say
Yeah.
it's hard to golf.
Winter
Snow,
golf would
white
be
ball.
fun.
How are you going to
Yeah.
find?
But I don't care about
Pogo
summer
golf.
golf. I don't care about Olympic golf.
Pogo golf, yeah.
Yeah.
I got to be honest. I really don't care about the Olympics.
Yeah, it's,
I said
it's
it.
quite obvious.
What do you care about these days, Stugotz? I think we should do a top 5 list that Stugotz
Stugotz,
cares about.
CJ Stroud's top 5.
Kobayashi's quote was he no longer has hunger, which I feel like might be where you're at as well.
Is that metaphorical or literal? Hunger.
Probably
Weed helps with that.
Okay.
Yeah. That's one of the things I like. I mean,
So in terms of things that you're actually paying
right.
regular attention to,
Yes.
it's just pro football and golf at this point. For
And
you.
Dead and Company.
It's debatable how much. It's
And the French
No,
Open.
and the French
lacrosse.
Open if their
And
matches
lacrosse.
run late.
Yes.
Yeah.
The things I want to be paying attention to at this stage of my career and my life.
Yeah.
Salute to Dead and Company also for showing that, doing the Bill Walton tribute behind them.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
It was very
Hats off.
cool.
Were you
Yes,
there?
sir.
I was not there. No.
Oh, you missed that one.
2 weeks, yeah.
Oh, shame.
It's tough because they're there every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and every Wednesday I'm thinking about booking a flight. I am. And hopping on a bird to go to Vegas because I can. And I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking about doing it this weekend.
Why
How about
Why didn't you last weekend, knowing that Bill had
that?
passed?
I had things to do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. Just, getting ready for the summer games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan Blaney ran out of gas on the final lap.
Get
It looked
outta
like he was
here.
gonna take the checkered flag.
Really?
And a total miscalculation. Alex Cindric actually gets playoff position. There's a cool wreck between Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch. Busch in another wreck. Kyle Larson actually ends up finishing top 10 despite having to go to the pit.
I heard the crew saying you should start a racing podcast, and I agree.
I don't think anybody needs another podcast.
In general,
I shouldn't put that on the record because
In general?
it's inevitable that I'm going to have another podcast at some point. I'll just get freezing cold take. Right now, I'm paring down.
really.
College World Series is better than ever right now, too. I don't know if you guys are locked in.
There was a hidden ball trick.
You feel me?
Yeah. See, look, all these niche sports, I follow it so you guys don't have to.
There's a
Right.
school. There's
Well,
a
thank
school.
you.
There's a school
I
playing.
appreciate your service.
Yeah, I'm telling you. There is a selflessness to it.
There's a school playing that school no longer exists. The
Well, that's a
school-
D3.
Yeah, school closed, but their team is still in the running
How?
for winning the College World Series.
But how?
They had a walk.
How long ago did the school close?
Like last week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did
They had a walk-off home run the day after their school.
they're
ceased
playing
to
out the
exist.
stretch
You
here?
have a zombie school in the
Exactly
D3
right.
College World Series.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's not Bishop Sycamore.
I think they're called walkers. Walkers.
Dog walkers?
No.
Didn't want to. Do I have to apologize to the Walker community?
So there's a school that has a team in its championship game that no longer exists?
Yes.
It's officially over for Birmingham Southern.
Oh,
They
they
lost
lost yesterday?
11-10 yesterday to Wisconsin
heartbreaker.
Whitewater. But
how
yeah,
sad.
on the 31st, they played their first game of the Division III College World Series. On the 31st, their school had shut down permanently. So all of these players were going to need to find a new place to play the following season if they weren't seniors. And this is at the Division III level. And they actually started by losing their first game, but then came out of the elimination bracket by winning in walk-off fashion, apparently, and then yesterday lost by 1 run. So it's
Well,
over for those guys now.
Not just find another place to play next year. Find a place to go to school. 'cause
Right.
Their school doesn't exist anymore.
Well,
Correct.
you go to a D3 school for baseball because you want to play baseball, not for the school.
I mentioned.
No, he's right.
I mentioned
D3 school for baseball.
that I
bad
feel
news for you. You're
a
not gonna
certain-
play baseball
well, that's
longer.
selflessness.
Oh, don't do that to hopes and dreams.
I'm sorry. Some people
I mean,
need their hopes
I
and
could have
dreams
played
crushed.
D3 baseball, which shows the level of baseball.
I
that
played
Chipotle
D3
has.
lacrosse. I mean,
Right.
Well, you got the lacrosse beat for us, so I appreciate that. And like I said, there is a selflessness to being the one that follows all these other sports, so you don't have to.
Yeah.
Just my luck. I was randomly watching because I had action on it. White Sox Brewers, and I saw this kerfuffle
yeah.
that involved Tommy Pham, who's a
Right.
Chicago White Sox.
It always does, right?
And
Kerfuffle seems accurate.
so there was a play at the plate, and it wasn't much of a play at the plate. He was dead to rights, like as he was on his way over there. He's sliding. Wilson Contreras, who is a Brewer now, he blocks a plate and does a great job of it. But he has a little something to say afterwards, and Tommy Pham took exception to it, and he had to be separated on the field. There was actually a pretty good call from the announcer saying, I don't care how many games we're losing this year and how bad we're losing. Nobody does that to the Chicago White Sox. You don't punk us. So Tommy Pham is really angry at the Milwaukee Brewers here, but then he had an awkward clubhouse interview. And do we have the sound of this? So it doesn't seem like he's just angry at the Milwaukee Brewers. Let's play this clip and let's see if you catch the same vibes.
1-run ball game, close play at the plate, and actually it wasn't even close. It was a shallow fly ball to left field. You would expect the left fielder to throw the base runner out on that play, but the situation of the game, third base coach sends you got to go. I'm nailed out at home by a mile. I'm going to the dugout, and I hear the tough guy with all the hoorah. So I'll never start anything, but I'll be prepared to finish it. There's a reason why, I do all kinds of fighting in the off season, because I'm prepared to f somebody up. So you can take it as what it is.
He seems, I have to make a quick correction. That's Willem Contreras, not Wilson, who they just love that division over there, the Contreras. I assume they're brothers at this point.
They've lost 11 straight.
Huh. Yeah, but
as you pointed out, you're gambling again.
It seemed like he was mad at people in his own locker room, and he was certainly mad at his third base coach. I couldn't tell who he was actually physically threatening.
Third base coach.
I don't think so.
I mean, he told him to go. He had no business going, and he went. And he said when the third base coach tells you to go, you have to go.
The shadow boxing. There's a lot of testosterone going through that guy's body.
There's a lot going on in that clip. You saw the Brewers' Wi-Fi password in the background. There was a printer.
Wait,
apparently.
what was it? I didn't see it.
No password. It's right there. So if you're at a Brewers game, you don't need a password for your
wow.
Wi-Fi. And there seems to be a printer at the top of his locker for some reason. I don't know if he brought that with him or if that's just always in the locker there.
Right.
History has shown us that Chicago White Sox should stop fighting. Just don't fight, brother.
Tim Anderson's never
You could have
coming back
ended
from
the
that.
sentence with the Chicago White Sox should stop.
Well, there is rumors that they're trying to leverage a move, aren't they?
Yeah, and they're
What, for
trying
a
to
new
get
stadium?
Yeah.
No, potentially move to another city.
Well, they want a new stadium.
It's hard existing in a city that has the Cubs.
They should go to Oakland.
No, the Mets have that problem with the Yankees. They should go to Oakland. That's funny. The Mets have those struggles with the Yankees, yeah. The Islanders with the Rangers. The Nets with the Knicks.
But when the Mets are winning, they've shown that they can draw people
Yeah, the
out
Mets
there.
have a lot of fans.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, yes, but
And they have a good stadium, too.
Yeah.
I know, but
Lots
the
of
Yankees,
a new one.
the Yankees are the more popular team. They've
Yeah,
won
but
more.
They're doing just fine.
The Mets have Seymour Wiener.
They're not doing
That's true.
fine.
The Mets are not?
We're booting up the chat room today with a true Hollywood star and a Boston Celtics fan, Mark Wahlberg. Let's listen in on this classic interview from the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz.
It sounds like at 47, because you have been, child star famous for a long time, that you should be squeezing the holy hell out of the fun life. But when people look at your Instagram story and see your workout, you're in the Army, dude. You've chosen with all of this fame and money to live an Army lifestyle for some reason.
I had a lot of fun when I was younger, before the whole social media craze, when you didn't have to really live under a microscope. And now I've been so blessed. I'm fortunate. I got a beautiful wife, 4 kids. I don't want to do anything to mess that up. And you know what? I'm in my prime, so it's like, why not work hard? I kind of take the Brady philosophy of, there's plenty of time to go out and get crazy if I want after a few years, but I gotta go and get after it now while I can.
How much did you personally have to do with getting Tom Brady in TED 2?
I just called him and said, Tom, there's only one guy that can light up the screen like that. We pulled the covers away. It's got to be you. And he thought it was hilarious. He loved the idea of doing it. So it wasn't that difficult to get him.
True or false, you were eating 10 meals a day when you were trying to get ready for the workout movie with Dwayne Johnson.
Pain and Gain. Yes. Yeah. 10 meals a day. Down there in Florida, waking up at 10 o'clock at night to have pancakes. And then I'd come out of the hotel at the W as people were coming out of the club, right? At 4 in the morning, getting ready to go to the gym at the Four Seasons Hotel, and all these people trying to pile into my truck, thinking that we're going to an after party. I'm in workout pants and going to work out. It was wild.
Mark, everyone in Boston, I went to school in Worcester, so I know a ton of people from that area. Everyone around there thinks they're the toughest guy in Boston, no?
Absolutely. That's why when you leave Boston and you go to another place and you're in a bar and like, oh, I think I know that guy, and you punch him before you think he's going to punch you. And you're like, I just wanted to say hello. It's like, and then you're like, oh, wait a second, not everybody thinks like me. Everybody doesn't want to just beat the crap out of me. Wow.
Instant Family, I was asking you about how you helped Octavia Spencer. She was sort of motivated by your fitness regimen. You helped get her in shape.
I don't know how many people I ran into. They're like, oh, I heard you working out at 4 o'clock in the morning. You started this Inspire to Be Better 4 a.m. club. I want to come work out with you. I'm like, okay, cool. Nothing. Crickets, right? No phone calls, nothing. All of a sudden, Octavia's like, I'd like to try that working out with you one of these days. I said, you're welcome anytime. The next day, my phone, the doorbell's ringing at 2:30 in the morning. I'm like, oh my God, somebody's going to wake up my wife. It's Octavia. And I sent her all these performance-inspired nutrition products. I thought I was inspiring. She is changing the game. I think she's motivating so many people. She's actually making the people on her new show work out, which I don't know if that's really allowed, but she is a machine. I'm so proud of what she's doing.
We have Alec Baldwin coming on tomorrow. Now, Dan has a little feud going on with Alec Baldwin. I am entrenched in the Baldwin family. Can you give us a good story about working with Alec Baldwin?
Yeah, we only worked together on The Departed. I was about to do Invincible, so we're playing a lot of football out front of the soundstage in Williamsburg. And, I like to throw a little bullet, got a little heat on the ball, and I think we got a little Pike's Peak on one of his fingers. But he came out to play catch with us. But Alec was a fantastic talent and did an absolute great job in the movie.
What's the movie that you were doing, Mark, that while you were in it, you simply knew? Because a lot of time actors don't know. It's so piecemeal that you don't know what you're making, where you knew what we're making here is going to be extraordinary.
It's hard. Boogie Nights was one of those things where you thought it was either going to be amazing or it was going to be a disaster. I mean, that movie, what was the movie? Showgirls had just come out, so that movie had a lot of buzz and ended up being a disaster. But the amount of talent and the writing and Paul Thomas Anderson directing, we just felt like it could be something special. So usually you feel like it's going to be good, and sometimes it turns out to be crap. But always the ones that are people, everybody's in it for the same thing. Everybody's really kind of serves the director's vision. Those are the ones that usually end up turning out to be special. And the true stories for me always.
We're out of time. Thank you for spending so much time with us, Mark. We appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I look forward to seeing you in person next time.
Panthers. We're supposed to have Steve Goldstein on, the voice of the Panthers, to also celebrate the Florida Panthers. But I have been told, and I'm not certain how this is possible, that Zoom is not working.
Yeah.
Well, I said it to you during the break, and you said to me, how is that possible?
All of Zoom?
Yeah, Zoom
just Zoom is down. Yes.
There's something about these Panthers fans and Panthers voices. They want to keep the outsiders out, I think.
Really?
They're
They don't want
gatekeeping?
us to be. Yeah, they don't want us to be part of this, which is fine.
Right.
They don't want us to steal their spots on the parade yachts.
I feel very confident saying the Panthers are going to win the Stanley Cup and do so in 5 games.
Wow.
Whoa!
5 games.
No, I feel really confident about it. The Panthers are good. Like Mike's been telling me, Roy's been telling me, and Chris has been telling me that for 2 years now. 3 years ago, they won the President's Cup. They got bounced out. And they made a trade, and these guys said, hey, they're better because of that trade. And I think they're better because of the trade. And so I feel pretty confident based on who they went through to get to the Stanley Cup that the Panthers are the best team in hockey.
They're favored. For the first time in their history, they're favored in a
They
in a
should
Stanley
be
Cup
favored.
final.
Yeah.
You can get it like minus 130
right.
at DraftKings
Does the
Sportsbook.
President's Cup need a rebranding, perhaps? Oh, maybe
It's
we'll
the
get
Biden
one in
Cup, I
November.
believe.
Uh-oh.
Why?
Maybe
Because
not.
anyone who wins that thing never wins the Stanley Cup?
I do like that you're seriously breaking down a hockey calling it the President's Cup, which is not what it's actually called. Like, it's not the Biden
Where would
Cup,
he get
it's
the
not
idea that's the name,
President's
Billy?
Cup. Well, that's what I'm saying. Is that in saying this, you're now trying to actually break down hockey, but you're calling it the wrong thing, which would indicate you don't actually know that much hockey.
I don't. No. I'm telling you right now, I jumped on the bandwagon. I mean,
if
me
they let
and
us on
Abby,
the bandwagon,
right,
yeah,
yes.
but they don't want us on for some reason.
Right.
That was
it
a-
almost makes me wonder if I want to root against the Panthers.
Huh.
It
I
was
don't
a
want to be
great
petty,
series,
but-
though. I don't know if it did anything to get you guys into it. It doesn't seem like it did, but I think 96% of that series was played with a 1-goal differential. New York did not defeat the Florida Panthers in regulation, yet that was a nervy series because of the reasons I just outlined. You had 3 overtime games, and you got to close it out on home ice for the second consecutive year. Your home fans got to see the Prince of Wales trophy. That was a really, really good series, even though the Panthers haven't been pushed to the brink of elimination like they were from the onset last year. They were down 3-1 in the first round against the point lead and Boston Bruins. It's still been a very difficult run so far. These games have been pretty gritty.
I just think Roy's Zoom doesn't work because he has a PC.
Maybe.
Is that it?
I think he just needs to switch to an Apple.
But Steve Goldstein's at the arena.
Maybe
Like,
he's an Android guy too. You should ask him.
Roy Computer still got the hump on the back.
Am I being too confident here? Am I
Yes.
overconfident? What do you mean, yes?
No, but I do think that if you're a casual NHL fan, you're probably rooting for the Panthers. They've never won it before, and I think that people tend to, if they're not, they don't have a rooting interest, or if they're not a rival or of a team that the Panthers play, they're probably picking the Panthers. They probably don't want Edmonton to win this. So I don't know. I think the confidence and the casual fan vote probably skews towards the Panthers.
It just hit me that we could have a Game 7 down here.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Well, it was important because Edmonton won last night, so you have home ice against them. Had Dallas won, they would have had home ice.
You
right?
really want a Game 7? Didn't we do this a week ago
No,
on this show?
I don't say I
Would
want
you
one.
rather
No,
have
I'd
a
rather
Game
win in
7
5.
at
Would you rather have a game 7 or end it in 5? I mean,
I'd rather win in 5.
Right.
I don't want Dan to get confused by that.
would you
I'm
rather
just-
win game 7 at home
Wait,
or
that's
win
a
it
dollar?
on the
I'm
road
just
in game
thinking
6?
Game 7 Stanley Cup final in our
Right.
barn? It just
Yes.
that would
Why
be
do you
exciting.
keep saying barn?
I don't know.
It's
what
a
you do.
barn. You have
Yeah,
to say
it's
it.
what they
Yeah.
say.
Not.
Yeah.
It's a barn.
It sounds makes you sound cooler.
What do you call it? You're credentialed,
I'm not yet.
right?
And I made. You know what? I'm gonna be started.
You're done,
I might be. I might be off of hockey if they don't want. If they want to hold me back, then
right?
Pulling
for the Oilers.
Yeah.
You're going to Edmonton.
I'm not going to
Don't do this, Billy. I care about you.
Edmonton.
What? Walk right into him going to Edmonton?
Chris,
14 hours?
What's with the fans just flashing people in those games?
I don't think Canada is rooting
I'm
for
on it.
Edmonton.
In the name of journalism, I will find out.
Time
you,
out.
Mike. Thank you,
Chris,
brother.
you think all of Canada is rooting for Edmonton?
I do. I
No.
think that's weird. They hate each
No.
other during the season, but when
No.
at the end of the year they want the cup in Canada.
They all come together?
I'm telling.
It's a thing.
I'm
I don't
telling
think
you
it's a
it is.
thing.
You'll
Could've
see
used a comma there.
you'll see Calgary Flames fans that no matter what they won't be rooting for Edmonton, but generally the nation does back the Canadian team. It's their sport.
Do you think that the Lightning fans want the Panthers to win the Stanley Cup?
Actually, some Tampa fans did say that to us in Tampa. If you guys beat us, take the cup, get it in Florida, bring it back to Florida.
Right.
That's a nice
Terrible
thing to
fans.
say.
No, you like to lose to the team that wins the cup. You do.
Lightning fans do revel in, you guys haven't even won a cup yet.
Right.
And so, they'll just pivot. The banter will become three cups to one.
The way I view Canada is they're all playing each other. It's fierce competition. So you have the Canadians, you have Vancouver, you have all these teams in Canada. There's like 6 or 7 of them. I think they're rooting for max embarrassment for Edmonton. Like losing to a team in Sunrise, Florida is max embarrassment. That doesn't care about hockey, by the way.
You should get some Canadians on and ask what they think.
Right.
Our Zoom's broke.
That's what you think, Stu, guys, because you from America. Other countries, they don't hate on each other like this. They stick together.
You're right. Hey, we have Canadians on our team.
I wish people would say Fort Lauderdale. I know it's technically Sunrise.
It's not Fort Lauderdale.
But when people say Sunrise, it sounds condescending.
In Stugotz's defense, I mean, I don't think there's many people in the hockey purists who are like, yeah, we want the cup to go to Sunrise, Florida.
Fort Lauderdale sounds better, but it's Sunrise.
South Florida, whatever. Just Sunrise sounds
No,
condescending.
it sounds like the cheesy name of a suburb, which is kind of what it is.
It's exactly what it is, yeah.
It sounds like how they describe Brock Purdy when they talk about him.
I feel like if you Sunrise needs to be on the East Coast, right? Like there needs to actually be beach accessible.
Sunset,
It's too west.
It's in the middle. It's
Yeah.
like right next to
It's
the Everglades.
right in the
You
middle.
can't
yes.
see the sunrise.
Sunrise is
Or
one
the
of those
sunset.
cities that by name it sounds fantastic.
It's
Quite
funny 'cause
misleading, yeah.
There
It
is
does,
a
right.
Sunset
But
Park.
then you get there and you're hanging out at La
Yeah.
Bamba on a Saturday night and you're home by 10 o'clock and there's nothing to do there.
You're from out of town. You got an Airbnb. Where do we stay? Sunrise. That sounds great.
You
The
go to
morning
Sunrise
rises. Let's go there.
at
Boom.
sunrise to
Yes.
get to the IKEA when the IKEA opens at sunrise.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the only reason.
Oddly
to
enough,
do it.
there's a Sunset Park in Sunrise.
It's time to get live. It's time to represent.
When was
That's
Sunrise
insane.
founded? Because to me, it feels
What
like
are
it was
the
like
chances?
1994.
I think the first day.
Sunrise is it's fairly old. It is.
Is it? Because I think the only time I ever
It says
knew it was an actual
6:29
place
a.m. here.
was when
The
Sawgrass
Sunrise?
Mills first opened. That there was just this outlet mall in Swampland in a
early.
place that people would just drive through.
I would say if you looked up Sunrise, what it's known for is shopping.
Incorporated in 1971.
Sunrise.
As
Really?
Sunrise Golf Village in 61, but as the city of Sunrise in 1971.
And look who the mayor is.
Crystals has good sunrise sandwiches. Oof, I love them.
Michael J. Ryan.
But Sunrise, like it sounds nice, right, Juju? Like, oh, Sunrise. I'm moving to Sunrise,
What
Florida.
year was it? 71?
Yeah.
That's
year
when Sunrise was formed.
Oilers were
Yes.
founded in 72.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And there's a lot of Canadian people that own real estate in South Florida. So maybe an Edmonton person founded Sunrise to create a hockey team there to then foil. No,
I don't think.
Maybe, I think.
I'm working on a
so.
conspiracy
Yeah.
theory.
It's
here.
working.
We'll keep working on it.
I am.
One thing I know about everybody in Sunrise,
this.
Florida, is that they are rooting against the Boston Celtics against the Dallas Mavericks this weekend.
I don't know about that.
Kyrie Irving is strolling his ass back into Boston, and it is going to be magnificent.
Do you guys have goldfish brains like me where after like 2 nights without the NBA playoffs, you forget that the NBA playoffs are still happening? I just forgot until you mentioned it because it's been like 4 days.
I have to be honest. I've been enjoying the NHL playoffs more than the NBA playoffs. I just have. But I have also decided that Luka's my guy. That Luka's the guy I need to be rooting for. Because Luka is everything that I represent.
I'm just trying to follow you because last week you were anti-Kyrie.
I was
in the
blasting
Mavs, and now
Luka.
you're-
I was blasting Kyrie,
You're
but
wasting your
only Boston can get me to root for Kyrie. And that's where we're at. But Luka is my guy. Slightly overweight, doesn't work that hard, gets injured occasionally, doesn't appear to practice. No, he's overweight. No, he's overweight. He's out of shape. I don't care what anyone says. And the fact that he is doing this, and he's in the NBA Finals, and might be an NBA champion, while not working that hard, in my opinion, is everything that I'm all about and everything that I represent. And therefore, Luka has become my guy. I am pulling for the Mavericks. And what a terrible final. And no one cares about this final.
No, you are tripping.
I totally
Get out of here.
Could not disagree more.
This has the Kyrie thing over it. Luka's become a player that's reputed to be must-watch TV. So I think this is actually a
The
great
Celtics
series.
core.
And that's a bad, that's a bad way to go about it. I sat here, I did the hockey talk. You want us to be inclusive, be nice to each other. I said you guys deserve to talk about your champion.
Right.
And now that we get to mine, nobody don't give a damn about basketball. Damn,
I said it like Luka. I mean, what do you want?
I think this is going to put up big numbers.
We're talking about a final with Edmonton and Florida. Sunrise. And
Sunrise.
Stugotz is
For 2
like,
hours.
Dallas and Boston's the worst thing I've ever heard
I have a
of.
question for the Heat
I
fans.
mean, Edmonton and Florida is not very good either. I mean, no one cares about
Who do the
that.
Heat fans and like the Miami basketball fans want to win this?
I
Because
know
you
what-
just
Isn't that
like
obvious?
Dallas.
It's got to be Dallas.
No, well, you would
Right?
not
I know what
like
you're asking.
Dallas because you lost the championship to Dallas.
Doesn't matter.
Boston we hate.
Boston, yeah, Boston.
You like Dallas?
Rooting against Boston.
The
Lesser
only
of two
answer is
evils,
Dallas.
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just because it's Boston.
You want Boston to catch this hell because it's all worked out. This is think of the exact opposite of the Panthers' path has been the Boston Celtics' path. The best player on the opposing team gets hurt, and it's not like those teams were any good to begin with. So they've just been carving through the playoffs like a hot knife through butter.
I feel like Dallas has created more of an impactful loss to the Heat fans than Boston has.
The Heat also beat Dallas in 2006.
Yeah,
so
but
it's
then
like
they-
there's a rivalry in the finals.
Yeah, but then
that's
they
15 years
Yeah,
ago.
but
lost to
that's-
them the first year of the Big Three, right?
Yeah,
And then
and
Dallas
that-
came and they were
that hurt
celebrating
plenty.
and live.
Yeah, that was probably
he's
the
right.
most
Love.
painful.
Mike, what he's saying is right,
series
though.
loss.
They've applied more pain to the Heat
Than
and the Heat fan
the
base
Celtics.
than the
You
Celtics
could have a
have.
Celtics rivalry, but like the heat of the Celtics rivalry, the Heat dominated.
I
that.
don't doubt that, but they've matched up 2 times in the NBA Finals, and their history is just that. Whereas year in and year out, it would seem Miami and Boston have a thing. So you work up all this hatred for that franchise.
Does
It doesn't
Boston
matter.
think they have a rivalry with the Heat?
I would have.
Yeah.
I would have been rooting
Yes.
for the. Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
Absolutely.
100%.
You can't
kidding?
let
Yeah.
Boston win a championship. I don't care who you are. If you're a Heat
It
fan,
just feels like
we can't let them win another
I
one,
hate
guys.
the Braves, but the Braves fans don't really think about the Marlins.
So-
you think that
well,
Celtics
no one
fans
thinks
think
about
about
the
the
Heat have
Heat
not
a
been the
lot?
Marlins.
I think
I don't think
most
they think of
people,
the Heat that much.
most Celtics fans, like in our age range,
People think about the Heat more than they think about
hate
the
the
Marlins.
No, I
hate
know
the Miami
that.
Heat more than any other team. You're gonna have like the historical. We hate the Lakers just because our parents hated the Lakers, even though we only play each other twice. And you have even more people that hate Philadelphia because of the proximity and their old timey rivalry too. But I think Celtics fans of a certain age, between like 20 and like 45, hate the Heat.
I think people don't like Heat fans because they're annoying, but I don't think that like
We have
the
a Celtics
NBA
fan.
Boston
hates-
fans
I don't think
are
the
annoying.
NBA
I'm sure y'all wanna
hates
call-
Miami as much as you guys think.
Should we call Mike Scher or should
All
we
right,
ask
should
our
we call
Celtics
Charlotte
fan?
or Wilder or Mike Scher? Like, I'm
The
sure
man's
y'all-
right here.
Y'all like to do that. Like, but damn, like I think the problem is that last year hurt so bad. Because we was down 3-0 and we had to hear it the entire time. So much that I would start putting on Heat jerseys just to get y'all to back off me. Like, it was so
The
sad.
Bill Simmons meme came from that series,
That
right?
shit-
That's an iconic moment now.
And then we built it back up and came back 3 games. Oh, game 7, right? Oh my God! So it hurt so much because of the last couple of years with the Heat. I do not want them to beat us more than anybody else.
Yeah, more often than not, their seasons are ended by one another. Like in the last 15
And this
years.
shit right here, the timeout when Jimmy Butler did it back. Oh my God!
My teams are just always so bad. I don't think anyone cares about them but me.
Yeah, over the last 5 years,
Like the Oilers
the Heat and
and-
Celtics have ended each other's respective seasons.
Yeah, that's. I don't actually think it's particularly close right now. Not speaking for Celtics fans, but I'm venturing a guess that the matchup that brings out the most emotion, because there's a lot of recent trauma between those two teams, I think is a Miami Heat. So to answer your question, as a Miami Heat fan, if the Knicks ended up in the Eastern Conference Finals, I'd be rooting for the Knicks over the Boston Celtics. I can tell you from the Heat perspective, I dislike the Boston Celtics more than any other team in the NBA. So I will be rooting for Luka Doncic. I will be rooting for Kyrie Irving. I will be rooting for Mark Cuban on his way out to get this title. I don't care. Surprise. Yeah, man, smile for the camera. Yeah, hold up 2 trophies. Remind me that you beat us in 2011. I'm good with that. Beat Boston.
What happens if Boston doesn't win? Like, what's going to rain down?
Coming down on them, man.
My heart.
Hell yeah.
Wait, you're
will be
announcing it now?
outside
You're
of
coming
this
down
game.
on
We're coming down on them.
Could have used a comma.
Yeah, we're coming down on them big time. This is the one. Like, you've had all the luck this postseason.
Right.
You,
I wouldn't call it
it's there.
luck. I mean,
they've had a ton of luck this postseason with opposing injuries. They just have. It's there.
Porzingis has been out.
They've been the best team all year long. They've been wire to wire the best team. Porzingis is coming back this series, yes?
Should be.
Allegedly. We don't know that for sure. That's the thing. We losing players, but you're right, bro. We had a easier path than the norm. But I still think that you got to go out and win these games. The Cleveland Cavaliers, Stroud was loose. I don't know if y'all noticed or not. Stroud's ass was loose. So somebody got to get a hold on these folks. And I think that it's going to prove that it's going to be harder for the finals because the Mavericks had to go through OKC, Minnesota, and whoever the hell else they had to play. But it's I don't know, bro. It still puts more fear in my heart because of what you will say if we lose.
This all falls on Tatum, though, right? Like Brown won't.
The
really,
entire thing.
This won't be like Brown and Tatum aren't good enough. I feel like this will fall on Tatum.
I think it falls on Brown too, though. Brown won the Player of the Eastern Conference.
He was the best player in the Eastern
Tatum,
Conference Finals.
I just feel like when
it's
they
about
lose,
Tatum,
that's
though.
the guy we look at.
Tatum.
Yeah.
They're heavy favorites in this series. I think the Mavericks are bigger dogs than they were in 2011 to LeBron and Dwayne's Miami Heat. So this, you got to do it here.
That's crazy, man.
Boston, you just have to do it here.
Don't say that.
They have to.
This feels like a pick'em series. Like maybe
No, I think Mike is right. You have to do it. Like
I don't know
the
how
same
Boston.
way we feel about the Panthers,
No,
though, right?
you've
Like the
been knocking-
Panthers have to do it here.
They
I would say
That is
Panthers
true.
are minus 130.
They have to do
Both
it.
I
these
think
finals
that
are
you
big
think
public
Thank you,
dogs.
Smitty.
Has to
Yes.
do it.
Yeah.
But with the
See, I didn't want
Celtics,
to do that to y'all. See,
It's
I
a
didn't want to
must-win
say
series for
the
every
Panthers,
team.
y'all got to do
You're
this.
right.
I didn't want to put this pressure on y'all, but y'all do not give a damn. And
put it
that's
on the polls
what
at a must-win series for every team.
The Florida Panthers have not even been on this show's discourse
Right.
for the vast majority of their existence. There have been complete entire hockey seasons that we just haven't talked about. So, like, the Celtics have been a driving NBA topic for 2 decades, and despite that, they've just had the one title. We know all about their history, and they bring that bravado to every discussion. They have been favored to win the title all year long. They got to do it. They have to do it. Most casual fans can't name a third Maverick. They have to do it.
Can you name a third Maverick?
Yes.
Carter.
Give me a minute.
Damn it.
It's a great question.
Celtics
I'll give you
in
time
5, though. Celtics in 5. Like, I hear all this. I think we're going to go in here and clean these boys up real tight like.
Right. I'll give you a second to think about that, Jess. I'll give everyone a second to think about a third Maverick. The reason I think Mike is right, the NBA is all about cities. It's all about markets. It's all about superstars. This is one of their biggest markets, one of the more storied franchises, and Jason Tatum is the biggest star on that team. They've been close a number of times. He has to get it done this year. As opposed to Dallas, it's a big market. It's not a marquee market for the NBA. And Luka, this is really his first time getting this close to an NBA title. So he has a pass that Jason Tatum does not have. He doesn't have it. Luka has it. Kyrie already won one. Tatum needs to win one.
It's been a charmed existence for much of his career, and this year, I think Tatum's gotten like when is this actually going to happen, Jason? When is this actually? Because we've been talking about you and talking about you. We've arrived. You've been around for a long time. You've been look at his name when it comes to playoff records. The guy hopped into the league and was in an Eastern Conference final. Like it's not been as charmed. Like when you go missing now, people are noticing. When Jaylen Brown is winning the conference MVP, people are noticing, hey, man, that's kind of weird. That is not where the expectations are. You are arguably one of the top 5 faces of the league. You have all these commercials. It needs to happen for you. I'm very much in that school of thought.
Dallas is a bigger TV market than Boston in the United
No, I know it is, but Dallas doesn't mean as much to the NBA as Boston does.
I kind of want to see Dallas win just to see like the awkwardness of, Mark Cuban's not really the owner of this team anymore. And now like the actual owners are going to get the spotlight and Mark Cuban's going to be off on the like minority owner section of the stage.
Mark Cuban.
Exactly
Mark
right.
Cuban was my third Maverick.
He'll get a ring.
I think there's going to be
Jason Kidd was mine. I didn't think you'd let that fly.
There's going to be great theater though with Kyrie. I don't think this is one of those situations where enough time has gone, especially with the break in games. This Celtics arena is going to whip itself into a frenzy.
Oh, yeah.
Every time he touches the ball, boos are going to be raining down. And he's the type of player that'll dominate the ball, and he'll kind of lean into it. So we'll see. He's avoided all the traps, and I think he'll he'll be smart to avoid it this time again because he's come out on the other side. Part of the narrative with Kyrie Irving is how he's finally grown into this leadership role and he's finally matured.
No, he hasn't.
We'll see.
He's just winning.
I think he has.
In the NBA Finals.
That's a bit unfair.
No, it helps.
Think about everything that's going on in the world, and for Kyrie Irving to not be an off-court issue,
To not post,
to simply not post, to not be a distraction, to not be the things that brought down his trade value. Because you look back on it as an absolute bargain. There wasn't much of a market for Kyrie Irving. A player comes up available like that, they don't typically land in Dallas. Dallas took a chance on Kyrie Irving. So
they also got rid of Jalen Brunson. So
yeah, I'm willing to see all the, but it's worked out for both teams.
It has.
So it's. I actually think it's going to be a great final. I hope that it's not one of these smash them, get them done in 5 type of deals. I want Boston to sweat it. I want one of those games stolen in Boston just to really make this thing interesting and make it a hot ticket. And speaking of hot tickets, I know down here we got a hot ticket.
Say all that shit about Jason Tatum, and I got to sit here and hear this. You going to go straight to the Game Time app?
Yes.
Salute the Game Time. Damn it.
There you go. I don't know if you – let's check your phone. Have you downloaded the Game Time app? I'm sure you have. But if you're listening to my voice right now and you haven't, shame on you. Download that Game Time app. Create an account. We've been talking about all these hot tickets. It's June. Happy June, everybody. It's an amazing time if you're a sports fan. I would probably still be going to the Stanley Cup final if the Panthers weren't in, because seeing that beautiful cup in person is what it's all about. You get the goosebumps for it. So why don't you be like me and hop on that Game Time account? Use the code DAN, that is DAN, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Last-minute tickets. Lowest price guaranteed. That's a big one, and it's not tricky to match this low price guarantee. I've been on that app. I've occasionally seen a better deal out there. Customer service gets back to you, and you end up winning because you get your that price matched and then some.
Well done, Michael. Juju, you have 3 minutes to respond to criticism of Jason Tatum. Go ahead.
Yes, I think the media, we put all these expectations on people on our own. Ain't nobody heaped praise on Jason Tatum except us.
No, so Jason Tatum did. Jason Tatum said he's one of the best players in the NBA.
But just so does everybody else. So does Nikita Walker-Alexander. So does
C.J. Stroud just said he's the 3rd best quarterback of the NFL.
And he lost to everybody on the damn list last year. So what I'm saying is, brother, we put these expectations on these folks. It's more about the Celtics organization getting it done, because I feel like Jason Tatum is still such a young player. Of course, and he had the benefit of being on all these perfect teams that are constructed. So it's like, yes, he deserves some criticism, but the team, the organization, having the Jenny Ainge years lead into the next years, that's the pressure. I feel like he's just such a young player. He doesn't deserve
100%. I've been kind of fascinated by the Jason Tatum stuff, but to me, it is more about this franchise winning a championship in 1080p. I've been hearing about you guys my entire life. I've seen one while I've been alive. Do it again. For the love of God.
I love that.
Well, and when you narratively can look at this postseason and see, all right, Jason Tatum doesn't win the Eastern Conference Finals MVP despite the fact that he had more points, rebounds, and assists in that series per game than Jaylen Brown did, but it's about the impact of when it happens. A lot of people are looking at, all right, Jason Tatum's doing a lot of that once they're already up 15 in that game in the second quarter. He's not the one who got him the lead. He's not the one who closes it out at the end. But he's still been spectacular statistically. And then you look at the onslaught of who they played, and it's like the highest seed they're going to end up playing in this run is a 4-seed Cavaliers team, in which 2 of those games were without Donovan Mitchell. 8 of their 12 wins, I believe, came against a team without their number 1. And so you can give Boston credit for doing that without Kristaps Porzingis. It is impressive to lose your starting center and still dominate your way through a conference. But if he's back, they're healthy, and it all comes down to late game execution against a team in Dallas that has both Luka and Kyrie that can get it done. That's when, narratively, things will start to shift to Tatum, and maybe with good reason.
You don't even have this big cult of personality opposing head coach. It's Jason Kidd. Mm-hmm. So even the Missoula stuff, that isn't really a discussion. You don't have to worry about him getting out-coached, really. Or do you?
Or do you? I know we have to worry about
someone name a 3rd Maverick.
Likely.
Yeah, exactly.
Heat life for Derek Jones Jr.
Well, Lively's got an injury, though, but he's playing through it, right?
Yeah, his neck. He took a brutal shot two games in a row, 1 game, skip a game. But I think that Joe Mazzulla, It's the finals. Please, brother, for the love of God, get a lineup, get a haircut, bro. Your beard, the playoff thing is done, bro. And don't watch the town this week, please.
There's this new thing happening. I'm not sure if you guys have seen this happen live or not, but apparently people are going into Chipotle with their cameras rolling, taking videos of the Chipotle employees putting food in their burrito bowls to try to coax them into giving them a little bit extra meat, a little bit extra rice, bigger portions as a way of like shaming them, I guess. And recently I've seen the CEO of Chipotle now come out and give a little hint as to how you can get bigger portions at Chipotle without shaming the employees. And I have a hard time believing that this is real.
The theory
First, I can tell you the portions have not gotten smaller. One of the things I think it's great about Chipotle is if you come into the restaurant and you want a little more rice or you want a little more pico, all you got to do is kind of like, and usually our guys and women, give them a little more scoop.
He gave like a face and a nod.
Is that a wink? Is that a nod? Is that real? Is that? I don't think that's real. No, go to the one by my house. It's not real. I give him a nod. He gives me more chicken.
No,
he doesn't know that.
The theory is that if you film them, they're afraid to get bad publicity for not giving you large enough portions. So if you have your camera on, they give you extra so that you don't publish a video criticizing them, saying they're not giving you enough food.
I understand that, but he's also saying just go in there, a little look, a little nod, little.
I do think the look works.
Oh, the nod works.
Really?
The nod works.
Just
What?
there.
I'm telling you, I get the chicken burrito.
You think this is in the employee
They
handbook?
put a little chicken in there. All it takes is just a little.
Can I get a little
They're
bit?
saying
You don't
if
even
you
have to
get-
finish the
The
sentence.
employee
the
handbook is
customer
funny,
gives
right?
you a nod and give them a little.
It's part of training.
Look, you got two dudes in here that have lived it.
I've had that
When's the-
experience.
This is what I do. I
Win.
always- They put whatever on mine. I be like, but hell nah. And they be like, okay. Like I be loud about mine.
It
Get a
is
little bit
crazy.
more than that, please.
It's always been crazy to me how they're so with the meat. They're like every piece counts.
Yes.
But with guac, they will put
Slap
so
it
much
on.
guac.
Cheap.
You
Yeah.
know they throw away a ton of guac at the end of the
It's
day because
crazy.
it goes bad really quickly. That they're like, we'll just slap this.
They will
guac
put
on.
a cup full of sour cream on my burrito,
So
but a
much
little
sour
extra
cream.
chicken, no, that's too far.
The way that I've experienced a lot of these videos, though, is I never actually see the point of view from the person filming. I always see a video show up on my timeline of some dude filming, but he's being filmed
You
by
see the
someone
video
else.
of the video.
Yeah, like these influencers that have been doing this a lot, they go in essentially with a recording team. Like, hey, I'm going to go up there and do this thing. Make sure you document me so people know that it's me, because if I'm holding the camera, people don't know that it's me, and I need to get my shine in. There has only been one time that I actually tried to manipulate the order, and it's not the quantity of food, it's the time that I get it. And it's led to some like awkward exchanges, so I just don't do it anymore. But I know in drive-thrus they time people, and occasionally the people working the drive-thru window will say, "Hey, can you pull out in front?" This is the reason why they do this is because if they get penalized if the clock runs down on them. So it's a way to manipulate the clock. You cease being the priority if you agree to move forward. And then oftentimes, every time I've done that and made that concession, what ends up happening is
sit there for 10
I'm
minutes.
sitting there for a long time
Hate
and
it.
I get handed lukewarm food.
You walk into, you have to even. I've walked in before.
Yeah.
Like after 15 minutes, like, did you forget?
So
Like,
I've done a
So
handful
you're saying
of
the
times.
employees are on the clock. They're shooing you off to a parking spot in front of the restaurant because of them.
Yeah.
They're not trying to do anything for you.
Right.
They're
Chris.
doing it to improve their time.
Yeah.
Do me a favor. When I go through a drive-through, hand me my food through a window, please.
Well, that's what they do. Except Chris, if he gets upset, walks in and he says, "Hey."
No,
What
after
the
like
hell?
15 minutes of like pull around, we'll
This
bring it out
visual
to
is
you.
amazing.
Yeah, I walk
I
in like,
want to see that.
here's my
I
receipt.
want a TikToker
my
to
food.
film that.
When they ask you to do that, they're trying to take advantage of the situation. And so, like, sometimes my response has been like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I know that." And some people have been cool about it, and some people have got like really mad by it. And I've just stopped doing it, and I just deal with like, okay, I'm just gonna get colder food now, and it always happens. Like you get nothing for agreeing to move up, except you make their lives easier.
Well, it's also possible you've ordered something that's not ready, and the other orders are now stacking up because yours isn't ready. They know it's going to take 7 minutes or
You
whatever
have a
to cook,
Timberland
and now
logo on your
everyone's
French
gonna
fries.
get-
I understand, but the notion and concept of fast food is that it's supposed
Well,
to be.
I think Chipotle also, the appeal is that there's some hot and there's some cold. And if the hot and the cold meld together before you get the chance to eat it, it's all one temperature.
and it's impossible
You
to
want a hot bite of
microwave.
chicken
Yeah.
and rice without you can't microwave it because if you get some sour
Guac.
cream or some guac,
I don't wanna
some
microwave the
smetana
guac.
on it, you can't microwave that. It's nasty. Interesting.
So you're telling
I've
me
never
if,
had Chipotle.
if I walk
What?
if I walk into my local Chipotle today and I give a little nod for more chicken, you're telling me I'm going to get it?
Yeah, you can
Yes.
essentially ask, "Hey, could I get a little bit more?"
You know
And
what?
you don't even have to
I
finish
want
the
our
sentence. I'll be like,
Billy,
"Yeah,
we'll
sure."
get back to that in a second.
Huh.
I want our listeners, if you go to well, actually, you know what? This is playing right into Chipotle's hands. This is this bad press. This is
Oh, is
now
this great for
coming
them?
back around. This is great for them. But if you go to Chipotle today, which I'm sure Tony will or someone will, do a
Not
nod.
me.
Don't film them because that's mean. Don't harass the workers. All right, they don't get paid very much. Be nice to the workers, but give them a nod. See if you get double meat. and
Also,
let us
give
know.
them if it go back around and then come back and order something else and give them but hell nah, and see how much you get compared to the first
Just
time.
play the message from their CEO and be like, he told me, you know? He put everyone in a bad spot, the CEO.
Can
He's
we
terrible.
play? Can we
Yeah.
play that video again? I want you to pay attention to like the look that he gives. Like this nod is such a. If you're listening to this, you won't be able to see it, but he gives like a little like a yeah.
And pay attention to his dead eyes.
First, I can tell you the portions have not gotten smaller.
Yes,
One
they
of the things I think it's great about Chipotle is if you come into the restaurant and you want a little more rice or you want a little more pico, all you got to do is kind of like, and usually our guys and women give them a little
That is
more
the
scoop.
look. That is the look.
It's
that you
BS.
give.
He
He's
nailed
put
it.
all his employees in a bad spot.
You make a noise, but you don't say a word.
Right.
It's just like,
Slight nod to the left.
It's like the
this.
look that the guy
Right.
in the Fire Festival documentary gave that in that one clip. It's like a
Kick Saving the Butte and women also. Brother.
Guys,
guys and women.
But that's irresponsible. I don't know why I'm stuck on this, but I am.
Yeah, what is your concern with this?
Because he can't do that.
Why?
Because people are going to walk in and they're going to do this. Little nod.
And the workers are going to be like,
They're going to
what
expect more chicken or steak or something, and they're not going to get it.
Well, then in your back pocket, almost quite literally, you just whip out the phone.
That's your proof.
Yeah, like
Right.
I didn't want to choose this method, but here we are.
I didn't want to resort to this.
All right.
First of all, the portions have gotten smaller, by the way. That's why this whole thing started, was because people started filming it to shame Chipotle. Post online and be like, look, shame on you. You only give me like 4 tiny pieces of chicken now. And they'll slap on that sour cream, but I want more chicken. All right, I'm not here for
a mountain of guac.
I'm not here for a mountain of sour cream.
So much guac
and lettuce. Give me more meat. That's
Why are you fixated on the guac?
Those are big spoons they use to scoop that guac.
I
And
know.
They fill it up.
They slap it on too.
They
They like
it is
they
just like
Is it too much?
way too much.
Can you
guac.
nod the other way and tell them less?
Can I get a little less guac? A couple more pieces of chicken.
Is
You think
guac avocados?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're smashed up, and avocados are expensive as
That's
hell.
what I'm saying.
are
It doesn't
doing?
make
They
any
charge
sense.
extra for the guac.
Damn.
Honestly.
It's a guac.
What?
What? Who?
Croc.
Went left to his own device.
Oh, come on.
Wait, Bill, you've never been to Chipotle ever?
Never.
That's
No.
It's
crazy.
overrated, by
Never
the way.
have.
That.
No, it's properly rated.
I don't think it is.
What about like a Qdoba or like a Baja Fresh?
I like
like
Baja
lime?
Fresh. Baja
Lime
Fresh is
I've
very
been to.
good.
Yeah, lime.
Moe's?
Moe's I've been to.
Welcome to
Qdoba.
Moe's.
Yeah. So Chipotle is just like that.
Yeah, but back in the
better.
day, I feel like
They like to fancy themselves as not a fast food chain, but they're a fast food chain.
One day I'm going to have
Yeah.
like great grandkids and going to be like, back in 2015, Chipotle was the greatest food on earth. You'd go to Chipotle and you get some spicy chicken and a mountain of guacamole, and they'd give you a little extra sometimes.
My daughters think that
You didn't
already.
even have to
Yeah.
wink at them.
Yeah.
And then everything changed after the norovirus, and it was never the same.
It did change somewhere along the way. It's like the first time going to Chipotle, you're like, wow, how can Taco Bell deal with this? And then you realize, oh, they have the Doritos Locos Tacos. They're going to be fine.
Chipotle
Grab
opened
some
my
Supremes.
mind to corn salsa.
Really?
I was never a corn salsa guy.
Really?
Oh, it's my favorite thing.
So
there.
you went there?
A little extra. I give him a little nod for that sometimes.
Do you?
A little extra.
Does it work?
I
Sometimes.
like if the people that are there, like creating this food, are like gatekeepers that refuse to give you extra.
I'm just
like a lot
saying-
of times it's people that really don't give a crap.
No.
And they're like, whatever, man. Here you
I'm
go.
just
Here's
saying the
another scoop."
CEO put everyone in an impossible spot.
I don't think so.
Well, they have the card now. The card of your boss told me to come in here and just give you a nod. I get
so
more.
here you go. Take
I
that.
pull up
Statute of
my video and I'm
Where
like,
does it end?
this
I'm
is
not
your
paying for the
boss.
beans. What do I care?
The statute of limitations is up. When I worked at McDonald's, I will give you all the fries your eyes desire. Like I will pour the whole bag like Five Guys.
That's what I'm
for the
saying.
fries.
Customer's always right. Keep the customer happy. Who cares?
Oh, I love that about Five Guys.
Yeah.
Just keep it like, yeah, I ordered a fry,
know.
but I essentially ordered a bag.
Right.
And you fill this
Essentially,
bag.
you could give me a funnel and just put it in my mouth and keep loading
Yeah.
fries
Yep.
into it from Five Guys or wherever, McDonald's, and maybe also Chipotle, but a little mix of every bite. That's why it was great, because you get a little bit of everything, a little bit of every flavor in your Chipotle. And then I read this, and I don't know if this is true, but apparently after the whole norovirus outbreak, they stopped preparing some of their food on site, so it wasn't as fresh anymore because of health and sanitary issues. And if that's true, then I guarantee you that's where the quality went.
That's a
also,
guac.
they expanded and they're like everywhere now, and there's just more of them. So I think naturally the quality probably goes down when you have 1,000 locations.
Are we going to deal with chicken inflation? I saw like over the weekend a tragic fire. 1 million chickens perished in a fire.
Really?
Yeah. It's like one of the largest free range
terrible.
farms. Yeah.
Sounds like a
1 million
party.
chicken.
Our hearts go out to the chickens. So what are you asking here?
T's and P's, but jeez. Call some friends. There's dinner.
Are you asking if chicken's going to cost more?
Well, that's the way everything's going.
Are you
isn't
tying
it?
these two stories together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder
Dead
if it
chickens,
smells-
chickens cost more.
I mean, that's
I
a.
wonder what it smelled like
It
too.
smelled delicious.
If I-
It was like the most delicious smelling tragedy ever.
I mean, it's an insane number. It's like it's
But
an
gotta be
unbelievable
less
number.
Than a
Like
percent of the supply.
I feel like it's not that much.
Yeah.
1 million
Yeah,
chickens.
I feel like if you knew the chicken industry, you'd be like, yeah, it's kind of
Where do you keep 1 million chickens?
in a coop.
Around Atlanta, it's like
Right.
the chicken
In that
capital
building
of the
that caught on
world.
fire.
Some guy like
obviously.
just smoking a cigarette.
Oh.
Weird.
Rest in power, chicks.
Yeah.
Well, they're
Why are you making it like a scene out of Cobra?
I don't know. How does fires are weird, man.
Right.
What? Let's expand on that.
Put it on the polar. Fire's weird.
You
Man.
think someone would just like when it starts, you put it out.
Right.
But someone was like, gonna let that'll go out on its own.
Just throw water on it. Unless it's a grease fire, Chris. You don't want to throw water on a grease fire. That
what I've
makes it
heard.
worse.
true.
Yeah.
I did think you were going to say because of bird flu. I'm not sure if you guys have read about bird flu, which is now a thing. It's in a few states. A couple people like adjacent to farms have gotten it. And there's been some warnings to farmers, but like I haven't seen a ton of mainstream coverage about bird flu, but it's on my radar, okay? Bird flu is on my radar, and I don't want this to become a whole thing. Like the last time we had this whole thing where everyone's like, we already did this. We're not doing this again. But I'm a little nervous.
It's on your radar.
I'm not gonna lie. It's
in
on
enough
my
places
radar.
where you're concerned, is what you're saying.
I wouldn't say I'm concerned.
Just
yet.
radar,
It's
right.
on my radar.
Okay.
Concern is the next level.
Okay.
Some people should be concerned. I'm not one of those people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on a sports podcast for a living. It's on my radar, but I'm not concerned.
Who
Okay.
should be?
Farmers, for sure.
Darren Waller should be concerned.
Yeah.
Wow.
I heard he's retiring.
Yes. Rest in power, his career.
Why do you do?
Now imagine, close your eyes and imagine like a little skinny guy singing this song and like it's produced like impeccably. You think the song?
If this was Post Malone, I
There
might
we
be
are.
like, oh no.
There we are. We're back. So the
video kind of ruined it.
Yeah.
It did more than ruin
And
it.
I'm kind of kidding.
Why do you do a video? Waller.
Attention.
Really?
What do you think his real thought was when he gets it's produced now? He filmed it and then he gets it sent back to him off once the editing's done and he watches it. Like, what is he thinking in that moment? Like, is he like, this is exactly what I wanted it to be?
He thought this is gonna be bigger than Wapam Gangnam Style. Wait till she sees this.
But there's no one in his life that says, hey, this is a bad idea.
Well,
Anyone?
I think they're divorced now, so
There you
The
are.
person he's leaving is the person who would tell him.
that's probably who would have been like, hey,
Right.
we shouldn't do that.
I have concerns. Speaking of concerns, you're concerned for bird flu.
I'm
You're
not
not there
concerned.
yet. It's on your
my
radar right now.
radar.
Let us know when you get concerned. My
I will.
concern is
Is this
that
a new strain of bird flu?
I have no idea.
I'm not sure.
Or is it
I
just
know
bird
it's
flu?
H1N5
It's not on my radar.
or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Oh.
I don't know what it is.
My concern is Zoom, and the reason is.
H5N1.
And Billy, you'll have to explain the story to the audience and to people who are not aware here. But I have a guest booked on Wednesday, and I am concerned that our Zoom is good. We were supposed to have Steve Goldstein today. I bumped him.
Goldie.
We were supposed to have Roy Bellamy today. We bumped him.
Belly.
Zoom is not working, but I do have a big guest booked for Wednesday. I will tell you the name of the guest. Billy will then tell the story while we're having this person on, but it is Shirley Schefter, Adam Schefter's mom. And
Don't
I am
call me
concerned.
Shirley.
She is booked. She is ready to go. She's ready to be this show's NFL insider.
Yeah.
Okay?
So fire.
I mean, she has no access, but she has access to her son's phone. And Billy told us a great story on God Bless Football last week. And so we're going to get Shirley on Wednesday, but I'm concerned the Zoom's not going to work.
I'm being told from our team that they feel confident it will be up and running by tomorrow even.
Wow.
By tomorrow.
Yes.
There you
Okay.
go.
Please tell your story, if you don't mind, why we're having Shirley
Well, you
Schefter
told
on.
the punchline. Long story short, I met Shirley Schefter on a cruise in an elevator. It was a very short time.
Yes.
What day of the week was it? You
It-
looked down at your thing?
It was a Sunday. It was the last day of the cruise. Yeah.
How did you know it was Shirley Schefter?
Well, I mean, the punchline was ruined. But the thing is that I was in an elevator. I was wearing an ESPN LA hat. Shirley Schefter saw it and said, "Oh, do you work there?" And I said, "No, I used to. It's a whole thing, like, whatever." It was like, went down the whole thing. And then she said, "Oh, my son works at ESPN, but not at the one in LA, at the one in Bristol." And I said, "Well, who's your son?" You know, I know a couple people there. Maybe I know who her son is. And then she's like, "He works." Like, I was like, "What department does he work in?" And she said, like, ESPN, like, insiders. And I was like, "I didn't know it was a department. Like, what's your son's name?" She said, "Adam Schefter." And I was like, what? And then she's like, all right, there's my floor. Got to go. Good talking to you. Let's catch up later. And we never did again.
So adorable.
Yeah, it was
how
great.
she sees her son's job. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
his name is Adam.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly
know.
right.
Right.
It was the craziest thing. And my fans like, Adam Schefter's your son. How is that possible? And she's like, got to go.
She's so proud. She saw your hat,
She really
and it was
was.
a window, a
Yes.
very brief elevator pitch.
It was no, I'm telling you, it was six. I was 6th floor to 4th floor is where she got off. It was a 2-floor
Wow.
stop.
She just couldn't wait to say
It was-
that Adam
yeah.
Schefter was
But
her son.
we're concerned that she won't recognize Billy unless he wears the same exact hat
Yeah,
and
and have
outfit.
the hat.
Right?
Yeah. 'Cause I imagine that Shirley goes around and like has that flex. You know what I mean? Like has that conversation more than just with me about my son's.
I like how
Schefter.
she played the game though, because she could have she knows who her son is. She could have said,
Well,
"My
no,
son's
yeah,
Adam
she
Schefter."
definitely knows who her
No,
son
but
is.
she played the
Right.
game of like, oh, he works in this
Adam
department. Like
Right.
she didn't want to like just be like blunt with it.
Production.
Of,
Hold
like,
on.
my son's Adam Schefter.
That's not, you know.
I
Does
don't
poop
your
on
mom do that
Shirley.
about you on cruises or
My
anything?
dad.
Your dad does?
Yeah, he'll wear a Dan Le Batard Show hat, hoping someone notices and asks. Like,
What if she
Dan Le
don't
Batard
follow
Show,
him?
I love it. He's like, well, you know, my son is,
What
but
if she
I'm not
doesn't-
Adam Schefter.
Proud dad. That's
You're
so
Billy
cute.
Gill. Even better.
What if she doesn't follow him on Twitter though? She don't know how big his tweets are. She just sees the TV show.
I
Oh,
agree.
you think she
Ashley,
doesn't know
his
that her
Zoom
son's a star?
Right, his
That's
Ashley
possible.
Zoom camera on Pat McAfee.
It would be
Aw.
impossible for Shirley Schefter to not know that her son is a massive star.
We'll find out, I guess, if the Zoom works.
I was hoping that the conversation started with her saying, according to my sources, and it sounded just like, and you were like, wait,
Was
are
there
you
a
Adam
resemblance?
There was after the fact. There was when she said ESPN insiders. For whatever reason, my head immediately went to, "Am I talking to Field Yates' mom right now?" And then she said Adam Schefter.
they
I was
have
like,
their
"Wait,
own
what?"
boats. Yeah.
And then I'm telling you, it was like a 1-floor stop, and I saw her, and I was like, I kind of see it. It was like a very real, like quick out of body experience almost. I had 1,000 questions.
Field's
never got
parents
to.
aren't on
Yeah.
a cruise liner. They're on a sailboat.
Yeah.
They own the cruise
Mrs.
liner.
Fowler, is
Yes.
that you?
Right.
Oh my
Well, Shirley's very excited. She remembers you.
What?
She does. I reached out to her and I said, "Do you remember meeting someone on a boat
Yeah.
who used to work for ESPN?" She said, "Yes, of course."
It was a moment.
I know.
I wore the hat later in the day, hoping to run into her again, and I never did.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's like the saddest
It was sad. Yeah.
So
attempted
wait,
meet cute ever.
your dad will wear a Le Batard hat?
Yeah.
Because I'm
Batard
trying
Show
to
hat.
avoid being recognized on cruise.
Yeah. Well.
You don't go on cruises, do you?
I've been on a cruise. Yeah, I went on a cruise
One
once. Dan's
cruise?
parents were on there. Yeah. I was sitting on the blackjack table. I was sober when I saw Dan's mom the first time. I had a big stack of chips. Then she came back like 4.5 hours later. Same seat, no chips, hammered. Just sitting there watching others play blackjack.
Seeing someone you know on a cruise when you did not intend to go on a cruise with that person is always a weird
Well,
experience.
it depends on the person. If it's the wrong person, I will spend the rest of the cruise hiding.
It's usually the wrong person. Like it's
Has
never
this happened to you?
Oh yeah.
With the wrong person?
It's not that it's the wrong person, but it's always like I didn't
Ian
expect
Rappaport's mom.
to
That was a mess.
No, it's like some kid from high school that's like, oh, we could talk to him. It's just going to be
a
awkward.
second cousin,
Right.
something, and then you feel like the obligation to where we hang out now, or are we on vacation together? And like the earlier you see them in the trip, the worse it is because then it's
They're like, oh, what time's your dinner or seating? Oh, you want to
you
sit
gotta
with
go to the
us?
show. Oh, what are you gonna do when you
Right.
get off at Nassau? You want to do this together? Let's rent a Jeep together. You want to go ATV? It's like, no, I wanted to go on vacation, not with you. That's why I'm on my own vacation. You know what I mean? You guys don't have that situation.
No.
I've never been on a cruise.
You've never been on a cruise and run into someone that you know.
If
And
that
you-
happens, you should just say, "Look, man, me and my wife have such a big itinerary. I'm a mess with you whenever we get back stateside."
Do I wear my 4-inch inseam like bathing suit? Now do I have to go like conservative knee length? Like what are we doing here?
Why are
know what I
you
mean?
kicking the can down the road on your friend, Juju? I'll see you when we get
It's
back
the
on
truth,
land.
though. That's honestly the best
But
way
you
to
won't.
do it.
It's not the truth. You're lying.
No, you will see them when you
Yeah.
get back to real world reality.
We can go
Like
to the
I'm
Putt
not gonna
Shack.
exactly. I'm not gonna hang out
Go
with
to
you here.
Flanny's.
We're good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that, but I
Right.
think it, and they think it too. And that's really the thing is neither party really wants to hang out with each other, right?
Well, of course. What if you saw me on a cruise? What would you do? Unexpectedly.
I'd be like, let's go to your room.
You would.
Oh, wow.
Baby.
Nice.
That
What's
came out
happening
weird.
here? There's a pineapple
Don't call me. This is a
situation.
weed joke.
What?
I got it.
You were the only one.
I thought
know.
you meant to record God Bless Football.
You guys
That's-
fucking or what's happening here?
Yes, me and Chris are.
Only
Yes.
twice.
I can just really
And
Schefter
Juju.
on
Me
it,
and Juju
three.
are also fucking.
Oh, wow. That is the biggest lie you've ever told in your entire life. That's never. Salute.
You can't say salute after that.
So did you guys
You
just never saw each other again? Kick the can down the road?
It was the last day. It was a chance meeting in an elevator.
How was the cruise besides that?
My kids were sick the whole time.
Oh.
That's how vacation
That's
goes.
the worst.
How many days were you with the sick children
Just
on the
a
cruise
weekend.
ship?
Just a weekend.
No.
Yeah. I actually forgot my daughter's swim life jacket.
Floaties?
Yeah, that's why I went back to get it while they were off the ship, and that's when I ran into her.
Chance encounter.
It was a chance
Sliding
meeting.
doors moment. Wow.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Well, she's coming on.
I'm excited.
If we get Zoom fixed.
Yeah.
Very excited. I just put a big bet on the Panthers for the series.
Really?
I did.
Wow.
During the break.
I already have one in. I'm deciding whether I should hedge. I put one in for the Panthers like a few months ago, and I get
Riding your futures.
Yeah. I'm deciding. Haven't decided yet. I think I'm just gonna ride it out.
Wow.
You have to ride it out.
Go all or nothing.
Speaking of futures, the future doesn't look very bright for Deontay Wilder. Another knockout over the weekend. Oh my God, this is like since Fury, his career has just went downhill and downhill and downhill.
That's like the fourth transition you've led.
Right.
I'm so sorry.
No. It's not a bad thing. I'm just. When did this happen?
I love it.
Professionalism, man. You get yourself
Trying to
around those professionals and you
wrangle us in. Bring us back to
current-
sports.
He's the current that's flowing through the lazy river.
I honestly didn't even.
He's the jet.
I didn't even
steering us
notice he
around
did
the
it.
bend.
Honestly, it was so seamless.
I noticed that he did it when it was Deontay Wilder, and I was like, I got nothing here.
Right.
And you'd
The
be
other
the
three
person that
times-
had stuff, but then you were like who are you setting up? I could have done that. I could have set you up, but no one else here knows that Deontay Wilder even fought.
Maybe he's setting
Touche.
himself up. I mean,
it's one of those Kobe off the glass.
Yeah.
I'm gonna catch it.
Yeah,
There
catch
you
it. Put
go.
it down. Tell me about Deontay Wilder.
Man, he lost this weekend. He got knocked out, bro. He looked so goofy in the knockout. It was one of those knockouts where he got hit and then turned around and then it was like, hey, why did you let him hit me, referee? And it's like, take another one. And then legs straight out on the ground. It's starting to look like the beginning of the end for Deontay Wilder's career. Hopefully he can get some investments and bought some land or something of that nature, but it's not looking too great in the boxing side of things.
I'll take the Combat Sports Vine in that there was supposed to be a press conference today for Conor McGregor's next fight. It was supposed to happen in Dublin. Chandler McGregor, we've been told this thing is finally happening, and abruptly this press conference has been canceled. So far, no reason given.
Things are going good in the fight game.
Did someone
Tyson Paul
Tyson-
postponed.
I saw that.
yeah.
Did you see Connor though? Like a week ago, was out partying when he's
Yeah.
supposed to be training. Like, are
Did
we
someone
surprised?
flash their boobs in front of the Dublin portal again, and they had to shut down the whole city? Or
They were at the Oilers game actually.
Yeah.
I'm
Flash
still
is having a
working on that.
moment.
it really is.
Felt bad for Tyson. I mean,
He'll
it
be
just
back.
It's an ulcer that is getting in the way of this
he'll
fight.
be back.
Allegedly, it's an
Will he?
ulcer.
Yeah.
Because it could be like, you realize what you're doing, and then I got an ulcer. But hopefully, if he has an ulcer, please get well soon, Mike. And I can't wait to see you knock Jake out.
Yeah.
But I felt bad for him.
I
No, you
don't.
didn't.
I don't think he should be
I
having
did.
this fight. I
I don't think he should be fighting.
no. I didn't
Why?
think. I didn't think he should be fighting before because I just feared some sort of health issue. Like, yes, I've seen the videos. I know Tyson can punch a bag fast, and I know he can do it much faster than Jake Paul. The internet has done a great job making you think that Jake Paul is going to get in this ring and get his head knocked off, but also it's done a masterful job at making you forget the age difference between these people.
It's an
And
easy
then Mike
payday for him.
Tyson could get seriously ill by just training for this fight, and that's what's happened.
Just by merely training. Forget about getting his face caved in.
Well, that won't happen.
Yeah.